Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Lord, starting with 2 talents, all races are confused. Chapter 61. In the Cave. Final item income. SS level magic weapon. Thunderfire pill cauldron. 2 inheritance jade cards with an overall rating of SSS level. An SSS level magic weapon. Mysterious ice dragon spear. And a 10th level demon pill. Of course, the demon pill's energy has been leaked a lot, but it still has great value. Qin Feng tried to recycle it, and the price he offered was 15,000 resource points. However, Qin Feng did not recycle it. Recycling is just a minimum living allowance. Ordinary resources are too lazy to be listed in the trading house, so recycling is fine. Everyone doesn't need it, and you can't sell it for a high price. But high-level things are still worth listing in the trading house. Otherwise, use it yourself. Qin Feng plans to use the demon pill for his own use. Moreover, he has already thought about how to use it. In addition, there is a dragon bone. However, it is of no value. After 100 years, this bone has long lost its spirituality. But it's pretty hard. Never mind, just keep it. Qin Feng raised his hand and put the dragon bone into the package. Then, he finally walked out of the cave. Let's go to the camp to rest first. Quote. While speaking, the bull demon clone was the first to blast open the stone that blocked the cave entrance last night. Then, he went to the outpost camp. He walked all the way to the camp. In the territory, Qin Feng was thinking about another problem at this time. Who should I give the gun to? After thinking about it, he couldn't think of a suitable candidate for the time being. Finally, Qin Feng decided. If, after the territory is upgraded to the 6th level, if there is still no suitable candidate, then he will draw it himself. After the 6th level, the power of the heavenly Tao will be unlocked. The 3 paths of hell, hungry ghosts, and humanity. It's okay if the combat capability is not strong. But the heavenly Tao is the strongest among the 6 paths. Qin Feng naturally has to make a clone for it. And, in Qin Feng's view, the heavenly Tao can also perfectly adapt to the Xuanbing Jiaolong spear. After all, Tiandao's melee ability is not inferior to Shiradao. And the fighting style is more flexible. With the Samsara Eye and elemental proficiency, he can also use ice weapons. While thinking in his heart, Qin Feng also completed his daily tasks at this time. That is, picking fruits and collecting spring water. At the same time, he once again blessed the stars and transformed the 3 people of the territory into star soldiers. While everything was done here, the bull demon clone also successfully returned to the outpost camp. Hu Qingqing and Hu Tiantian. Yesterday, Qin Feng had already sent a team of guards to the territory. But Hu Ning still had a little fox that had not yet transformed and was still in the camp. Therefore, Qin Feng directly summoned the 2. Then, he looked at Hu Ning and said, I have explored the cave. There are a lot of gains in it. You have contributed a lot. With your 2 daughters, they have become my maids now. Such a contribution should be rewarded. While speaking, Qin Feng said at this time, here is a 10th level demon pill. Although the energy loss is serious, but if you refine it, I think it will also improve your strength. Take it. Hu Ning heard the words, looking at the demon pill exuding a faint breath, his face full of surprise. He hurriedly, with both hands in fear and trepidation. Then, he immediately thanked, Thank you, Ling Tianping. Qin Feng nodded slightly and smiled. This is what you deserve. Rewards and punishments are clear. It is the basic principle of my territory. Hu Ning heard the words and thanked again. But he did not choose to refine the demon pill. Instead, he said, Lord, can I give this demon pill to the 3 women? Qin Feng raised his eyebrows when he heard this. Of course I can. The thing has been given to you. It's your freedom to give it to anyone you want. Hu Ning called out when he heard this. The little fox lying on his head jumped down, tilted his head, and looked curious. At this time, Hu Ning showed a touch of kindness and said slowly, Mayor, eat it. Then, do as Daddy taught you. Circulate the spiritual power in your body and refine it. When the little fox heard this, a bright color flashed in his eyes, and then he nodded slightly and made a squeaking sound. Hu Ning smiled when he heard this. Daddy, don't need it. Be obedient. After several admonitions, the little fox finally gulped and swallowed the demon pill. This scene, it made Qin Feng quite satisfied. After all, fundamentally speaking, he actually hoped to give the demon pill to Hu Mei. After all, Hu Mei's talent and physique were better. Her growth limit was also higher. However, as he said, everything should be clearly rewarded and punished. Because of Hu Ning's intelligence, these things were obtained. The other party's 2 daughters also paid everything. They should be rewarded. Of course, this is also because Hu Ning is smart enough. He knows very well, what is his value to Qin Feng. Combat power? Obviously not. The only valuable information has been explored now. But there is only one thing that can provide continuous value. His daughters. Therefore, this choice was made. And soon, as the demon pill was swallowed into the stomach, the energy inside began to be stimulated. Under Qin Feng's gaze, the little fox in front of him exuded a wisp of frost garden air. Then, a graceful figure gradually emerged in the mist. Its level, the breath was also rising. In a very short time, its level directly jumped to level 50. And, vaguely, at the position of its perky buttocks, tails emerged one after another. At the same time, a prompt sounded. Ding, your red fox, Tianmei, has advanced to a 6-tailed black ice fox. Listening to the prompt sound, Qin Feng was slightly surprised. Because he didn't expect that under the power of the demon pill, Hu Mei's bloodline power actually completed a transformation. Before, Hu Mei was just an ordinary red fox, but with excellent spiritual roots. And now, the 6-tailed black ice fox belongs to an epic race. Although it is true that the road of cultivation is more talent-oriented. But the stronger the bloodline, it is not a bad thing. While feeling emotional, the frost mist also gradually dissipated at this moment. Hu Ning, who was on the side, had already turned around on his own initiative. He had the experience of transformation. He knew what the state was at the beginning of the transformation. Therefore, when his daughter transformed, he would avoid it. But at this moment, he looked at Qin Feng and had no idea of avoiding it. He opened his mouth, but in the end, no sound came out. Instead, he shook his head slightly, and finally sighed, forget it, forget it. Under Qin Feng's gaze, finally, the ice season completely dissipated. And at this time, a figure with blue hair, eyebrows, and other hair, but white skin like snow, about 1.7 meters tall, and a graceful figure, was imprinted in his eyes. This scene, Qin Feng's pupils shrank slightly. At this time, a slightly awkward voice sounded. Lord, Lord, Lord. The girl in front of him spoke, her bright eyes full of joy. I succeeded in transforming. Is this a human body? Ming, I'm not used to it. While the girl spoke, she reached out and groped up and down her body. Looking at this scene, Qin Feng swallowed a mouthful of saliva. His eyes widened. For a long while, he muttered to himself, this is also. In Qin Feng's mind, some words emerged. Huge, top quality, perfect. He had to admit, the girl in front of him. In terms of appearance, she was even more outstanding than the sisters Hu Qingqing and Hu Tiantian. That pair of fox sisters were already seductive and seductive. Then Hu Mei in front of him at this moment was at the level of a disaster for the country and the people. Even Qin Feng had some understanding of King Zhou in his previous life. Of course, Daisy was different from her. The two had different races. Among Westerners, Daisy also belonged to this level. The difference between the two was, Daisy was more passionate and unrestrained. And Hu Mei in front of him was gentle and had a unique beauty of the Oriental race. While he was amazed in his heart, at this time, Hu Ning, who turned around, coughed lightly and said, Mayor, you can try to mobilize the spiritual power in your body and transform your hair into clothes. As soon as the words fell, Hu Mei quickly transformed into a blue-sleeved robe. Qin Feng came back to his senses when he saw this, and then said, Hu Ning. Now there are still 2 choices for you. 1, I will send someone to send you to the territory, where it is safe enough and the spiritual energy is relatively abundant. You can live out your life in the territory. 2, if you plan to lead troops, I can appoint you as a captain in the mage camp. Hu Ning didn't think much about it at this time, and smiled bitterly, Lord. I choose the first option. I am a wild red fox. Although I became a demon by chance, I haven't fought much. Besides, I am not young now, so it's better to be ordinary. Qin Feng bought it after hearing this. Then, he turned to look at Hu Mei, who still seemed extremely excited, and smiled. In a while, you will follow your father to the territory together. Your elder sister and second sister are also here. Then we can have a good exchange. Hu Mei heard this and immediately responded with a smile. Thank you very much, Lord. Qin Feng also smiled when he heard this. Especially the main body in the territory, their smiles were even more strange. Hu Ning and Hu Mei were sent to the territory by Qin Feng. The rest of the people stayed in the territory for a while and then started a new round of conquest. In fact, now it is not only Qin Feng who is launching the conquest. Qin Feng took a look at the number of people still in the chat channel. Compared with yesterday, the number of people has decreased again. Currently, only 455 lords are still in the chat channel. This rate of decline is definitely impossible, and all of them are done by the new boss. After all, normally speaking, the danger is the greatest only on the night when the shield is just removed. After being able to survive that night, even if there is some decline later, it will not be so exaggerated. This means that many of them are likely to be destroyed in the Lord War, or surrender. This also leads to the fact that the entire chat channel is now much quieter. The topics of the chat are also related to this aspect. Qin Feng had taken some time to look at it before. At present, it seems that more than 10 alliances have been formed. Among them, the largest one has at least more than 30 lords joining it. Still in the chat channel, the screen is full of declarations. The content of the screen is probably, I am Lord XX, joining the XX alliance. If anyone is an enemy of any one of my alliance, I will fully support them at all costs. The reason for doing this. It is also very simple. Through the declaration, show how united your alliance is. At the same time, deter and intimidate some other lords. In this case, in addition, Sha Yu sent a message asking Qin Feng if he wants to expand the alliance. And Qin Feng's answer to this is, alliance. I have never considered forming an alliance. You are currently the first, and if nothing unexpected happens, you will be the last ally. Quote, I only accept submission or becoming a vassal, not considering allies. Quote. Then, Sha Yu did not mention this matter again, but replied, so, you are very strong. Sure enough, I, Sha Yu, am the daughter of destiny. Looking at the other party's reply, Qin Feng was a little speechless. I am awesome. Why did you become the daughter of destiny? I don't know what it means. Qin Feng was too lazy to reply. In addition, Qin Feng also found out. In the trading channel. Request for assistance, this thing was basically swept away. Basically, once it was sold, it would be bought immediately. It can be seen from this. With the end of the 7-day safety time, the competition in the entire area has completely increased by more than one level. Peace. It will only come again after the unifier appears. I have to speed up too. Qin Feng looked at the repaired team and chose to start a war again. And the target of the war is still the other new lords in the outer area. These few days are a critical period. Before other lords are promoted to level 5, plunder as many resources as possible. It is best to be able to form a level suppression of the territory at all times. So, the pace of war cannot be stagnant. However, unlike the last time. This time, because of the liberation of high-end combat power such as Daisy, the troops were directly divided into two groups. One side went south, and the other side to the north. Soon, both teams came to the new Grey Fog Passage. Invaded simultaneously, and the lords inside also reacted. Among them, one lord had already gathered troops in front of the Grey Fog Passage. But unfortunately, even so, it still couldn't stop Qin Feng's invasion. With the Bull Demon clone leading the charge, the 4 spirit guards followed closely behind, and in just a moment, they broke through the defense line they had arranged. The final result. The territory was completely destroyed. No one was left alive. On the other side, Daisy and the Beast King clone encountered even less resistance. That lord and the previous fire spirit, the Centaur Lord generally, even the novice boss has not been solved. Naturally, there is no resistance. Soon, 2 novice areas were cleared. And this is just the beginning. 2 hours later, 2 more territories were breached. 4 hours later, 1 territory was completely destroyed, and the other territory was owned by the human lord. After seeing Qin Feng, he decisively chose to become a vassal. Time passed, and Qin Feng's two teams almost maintained the rhythm of conquering a territory every 2 hours. When night fell on this day, 7 territories had been completely destroyed. Then, a human lord chose to become a vassal. The remaining 2 alien lords chose to surrender directly. However, in Qin Feng's opinion, the races of these 2 alien lords had little growth value. The final decision was to directly collect 95% of the income. All personnel became work units to mine resources. The remaining 5% of resources were provided for their daily expenses. Similarly, under such a series of wars, Qin Feng's resources also soared to 280,000 on this day. Among them, about 250,000 were the income from war plunder. The remaining 40,000 were all from the resources provided by the subordinates and the surrendered lords. At night, when Qin Feng was summarizing the resources, they were all slightly surprised. Then, they smiled. And then, Qin Feng started spending resources again at this time. Still recruiting personnel, building houses, and some daily production buildings. After a round of consumption, resources cost about 150,000. But it also completely met the other prerequisites for upgrading to level 6 territory. In this way, tomorrow, we can gather enough resources to upgrade to level 6 territory. Qin Feng's eyes lit up. He was very satisfied with this speed. At this point in time, if the territory can be upgraded to level 6. Basically, in the final assessment of the novice, it is almost certain that it can be upgraded to level 7 territory. However, the idea is beautiful. After a beautiful night, it was Qin Feng who slowly woke up from the 3 Fox sisters. Soon, like yesterday, he sent 2 teams to continue attacking on both sides. However, things did not go as planned. After solving the 2 lords who did not surrender at the first time again, 2 huge mountain ranges blocked the way to continue the conquest. This situation, Qin Feng had considered it long ago. After all, this area itself is composed of a large irregular continuous mountain range. Many lords, although in the outer area, but there is also a horizontal difference in the periphery. And obviously, the area where he is located is a lower place. Now he has encountered an area with a high and low difference. If he wants to continue the attack, he must climb up this area with a difference. B. The height is not low. The barrier is more than 1,000 meters long and quite steep. The difficulty of attacking is too great. For the time being, we can only put it aside. Besides, the current controllable area is also enough to develop. Qin Feng gave up the attack. There is no need to forcefully advance to both sides. After all, the purpose of attacking other lords has 2 points. First, to reduce competitors. Under this terrain trend, unless the lords in the high point area have a problem with their brains, they will not go to the trouble of attacking the lords in the low point area with such a big difference. In this case, the 2 sides live in peace and develop on their own. When they reach the deeper part of the gray fog zone, they will eventually meet. At that time, they can just decide who is the best. Second, plunder resources and expand resource territory. As for now, in fact, the resource territory obtained by Qin Feng himself is already large enough. It is enough for a short period of time. Naturally, there is no need to waste energy. Moreover, this steep area is already a full 40 to 50 kilometers away from his own headquarters. Even the nearest vassal territory is 2,000 kilometers away. In addition, climbing steep slopes and heading to high altitude areas, just rushing is enough to consume a lot of time and physical strength. If you really encounter a difficult enemy, support cannot arrive quickly. In short, no matter from which angle, there is no need to attack the high altitude areas on both sides at present. Then next, let's exploit the resources in the controlled area. At present, even if we don't start a war, the daily income can reach 60,000 to 80,000 resources. Although the speed of accumulating resources is not as fast as the previous direct invasion. But it's not slow, and other lords should also encounter this problem. Qin Feng made a decision at this moment. He was not worried that other lords would be able to expand without limit. Under the rules of the endless world, it is likely that the terrain of this area is like this. Every dozen or so lords' territories will have river isolation, height difference, and even other various situations. The lords of the endless world compete for hegemony. In essence, it is very similar to raising GU. But it will not let a GU insect that develops smoothly in the early stage eat all sizes directly. Instead, it will be divided into stages, and elites and kings will be raised continuously. Until the final area, the final GU king will be decided. After all, some tribes will only exert their strength in the later stage. If there are no such restrictions, the powerful tribes in the early stage will be too unsolvable. Next, let's develop steadily for a few days. Let's talk about it after we upgrade to level 6 territory. Qin Feng breathed a sigh of relief, and he was not impatient about it. Territory development. It is a long-term thing. Especially after reaching level 8 or 9, the territory needs to be upgraded in months. When it reaches level 1 city, it takes years. Being too eager is not a good thing. With a decision in mind, Qin Feng relaxed at this time. After thinking about it, Qin Feng suddenly thought of it. In front, in a certain territory, it seems that there is a natural hot spring. Qin Feng thought to himself, and at this time, he was also moved. A moment later, in a peach forest, wisps of hot air rose. Qin Feng jumped, splashing water, causing several consecutive screams. My lord, oh, my clothes are wet. Of course, among the screams, there was another voice, slightly excited. I'll come too. Then, in the lightning, all the clothes disappeared. Daisy also jumped up, splashing water. Then, the two looked at the shore. Before Qin Feng spoke, Daisy laughed first. The lord's new beauties. Come down quickly. Let me check your quality for the lord. The hot spring was soaked for half a day. Of course, most of the time. In fact, it was not just soaking. Anyway, after soaking in the hot spring, the four girls not only did not get rid of fatigue, but on the contrary, they all looked a little tired. Even Qin Feng felt a little sore in his waist at this moment. However, the sense of achievement in his heart was full. 1 volt 4, complete victory. Qin Feng was quite satisfied with this ability. Especially, these four, they are not ordinary women. 3 fox demons, doctors are useless. Daisy, with a Western physique, is stronger than Oriental women in terms of endurance. If it was Sha Yu, I'm afraid she would be completely defeated in 3 rounds. Qin Feng suddenly thought of this at this time. Then, he shook his head. We are allies, why are you bullying thousands of allies? He muttered in his heart. Qin Feng looked at the sky at this time. It was approaching night. As expected of me, the combat power lasts for 10 hours. Qin Feng was proud again. At this time, he opened the Lord panel. Then he looked at the resources. 3,354,515. Finally enough. Looking at the accumulated resources, Qin Feng was also the first time. The territory was upgraded remotely. Instantly, resource consumption. And the territory dozens of miles away. At this time, the entire mansion was also wrapped in a white light. After a moment of waiting, a pleasant reminder sounded. Ding, your territory has been upgraded to level 6. Ding, your territory area has expanded to 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers. Ding, you have obtained a new lord skill. Encouragement can be activated once a day. After activation, the work efficiency of your people will increase by 100%. Ding, you have unlocked a new miracle building, the Human Emperor Palace. Ding, you have +1 hero quota, currently 2 quarters. Ding, you can choose the direction of your territory development. 1. Technology. 2. Cultivation. 3. Magic. Note, after choosing, it will determine your future building type. Requirements for upgrading lower level territory. 1. Resources by 2 million. 2. Territory population greater than 10,000. 3. Own 3A level or higher buildings, 10B level or higher buildings. 4. The total number of soldiers under your command reaches 500 or above 6th level troops. 5. The exploration area reaches 900 square kilometers. After a series of prompts about the territory, then, Qin Feng's mind was filled with prompts again. Ding, you have unlocked the power of the 6 paths, Heavenly Path. Next level, Outer Path. Ding, you have unlocked the 6 secret skills, Shinra Tensai, Wanxiang Tianyan, Chibaku Tensai. Ding, your level has been upgraded to level 55. So far. The prompts finally sounded. Qin Feng slightly concentrated. This wave of territory upgrades. There was a lot of information received. He also needed to digest it briefly. Soon, after carefully reading the upgraded information in the Lord's log again, Qin Feng called out a panel at this time. The information on the panel was not complicated. It was the selection panel for the direction of the territory's development in the future. 3 development directions, which one should I choose? Qin Feng was undecided for a while. The choice of development direction is important, but it is not that important. Because the choice of this development direction will not actually have a big impact on the territory's combat power, etc. Simply put, that is, after choosing the route, it will only affect the basic building category after each upgrade of the territory. That is, such as, well, and, animal stable. This type of building is the lowest level. Except when the city is promoted, it will get an overall advancement based on some printing. In levels 1 to 10, they are all the initial E level. The real advanced building can only be built after obtaining the building blueprint. But this is not completely unimportant, because it is related to the overall structure of the subsequent territory. In terms of comfort, the technology route seems to be the best. Qin Feng murmured at this time. Technology route. Let's take the simplest example. Residential houses can be upgraded to 6-story buildings, 12-story buildings, 20-story buildings and 10 level 33-story buildings. The rest, mines, can also be upgraded to, or refineries, that are closer to the modernization of Qin Feng's previous life, etc. Animal pens can be upgraded to pastures. In the end, in the later stage of construction, the city will be a modern city. There will be cars and high-rise buildings. This kind of construction structure will be more comfortable and in line with the habits of modern people. And the magic route. It is a magical type of building. Its overall architectural style is closer to the Middle Ages and is not so comfortable, but because there will be the blessing of magic circles, there may be some special effects. Compared with the technology type of development route, the utilization rate of land is not that great. At the same time, there will be slight differences in some aspects. As for the buildings of the cultivation style, in fact, there is only one flaw. That is, the most consumption. All the buildings of the cultivation type are the most expensive. The same price. On the technology side, a 6-story building can accommodate up to 48 people. On the magic side, a 3-story hut can accommodate up to 18 people. On the cultivation side, only a small spiritual house can be built, which can accommodate up to 6 people. Moreover, there are also requirements for the environment of the territory. Because many things require spiritual energy to maintain. But at the same time, there is a reason for being expensive. Living in the cave, the physique of the people will become stronger because of the existence of the spiritual energy cushion. The various livestock meats produced by the built spiritual beast pen also have stronger effects after eating. A strong man once scored 3 development routes. Technology side, practical index, 4 stars. Consumption index, 3 stars. Growth limit, 4 stars. Magic side, practical index, 4 stars. Consumption index, 4 stars. Growth limit, 4.5 stars. Cultivation side, practical index, 5 stars. Consumption index, 5 stars. Growth limit, 5 stars. To sum up, science fiction and magic have their own advantages and disadvantages. The road to cultivation is a big spender. In history, there are many lords who chose the path of cultivation, but ended up consuming too many resources. In the end, the early advantages were gradually caught up. Originally, the other party's territory was level 5, and he was level 6, leading the progress by several days. Then a month later, the other party was level 7, and he was still doing infrastructure at level 6. A year later, he was level 8, but the other party was already level 10. Level 6 fights level 7, if it is elite enough, it is not without the power to fight. But level 10 fights level 8, that is crushing. According to statistics. In terms of spending resources, the cultivation direction is 2.8 times higher than the previous 2 on average. Weighing the pros and cons. Finally, Qin Feng gritted his teeth. I started with 2 talents. If I don't choose the strongest route, I will be sorry for this start. Make a decision. At this time, Qin Fang's eyes became more and more determined. I choose the cultivation development route. The words fell, and the final conclusion could not be changed. But unfortunately, at this moment, Qin Fang couldn't go back to the territory to see the upgrade changes of other buildings. In fact, at this time, with the choice of the route, unlock the new buildings of the 6th level territory, namely, Spirit Lamp, Spirit Stone Conversion Furnace. Spirit Lamp, that is, lighting building, has many styles and different prices. As for the Spirit Stone Conversion Furnace, it is an energy device. Consuming resources can be exchanged for spirit stones to maintain the consumption of some spirit objects. These two buildings have different names according to different development routes, but the effects are the same. For example, the science fiction side is lighting lamp and power plant. The magic side is magic lamp and magic crystal conversion device. Choose the future development path. Qin Feng didn't think about it at this time. This thing can't be changed. Because, at the moment he made the choice, the Lord's heart has completed the first transformation. And it is the most important transformation. Later, even if it is building a city or establishing a country, it will be advanced on this basis. By the way, take a look at the new miracle building. Although Qin Feng couldn't go back to the territory and build it directly at this time, but he could still take a look at the effect of the building. The panel opened. What came into view was a magnificent palace. He looked at the area. 200 times 200, that is, 40,000 square meters, about 60 acres of land. This size is already majestic. Of course, compared with its external attributes, Qin Feng cares more about its effect. Human Emperor Palace. Grade: SSS. Description: Human Emperor Palace, humanity will prosper forever. Effect: 1. Human Emperor Blessing. It can be released once a day, and can bless all members of the territory and gain benefits within hours. 2. Human Emperor's Power. The Lord obtains the skill, Human Emperor's Pressure. The initial grade of the skill is SSS level, and it increases with the size of the territory members. 3. Human Emperor's Robe. The Lord obtains the magic weapon, Human Emperor's Robe. The initial grade is SSS level, and it increases with the size of the territory members. 4. Human Emperor's Sword. The Lord obtains the magic weapon, Human Emperor's Sword. The initial grade is SSS level, and it increases with the size of the territory members. After reading the introduction, Qin Feng's expression did not change much. But in his heart, he sighed again. It is worthy of being a miracle building. 4 effects. It is also extremely powerful. The first effects are functional. Among them, the blessing of the Emperor can be said to be a heaven-defying effect. For combat troops, it can directly increase their combat power by 1 level, which is effective before level 10. For working people, it can increase their work efficiency by 300%. In such a comparison, after upgrading to level 6 territory, the encouragement skill obtained seems so useless. The only shortcoming may be that it can only last for 1 hour. The 3 effects that follow. They are given a skill and 2 pieces of equipment respectively, and they are SSS level at the beginning. You know, Qin Feng's only SSS level item at present, including used and unused ones. The total number can be counted on fingers. Daisy's professional scroll was opened by winning the first place in the regional competition. The Xuanbing Jiaolong spear and 2 jade cards were obtained from the cave of a 10th level strongman. Moreover, the Xuanbing Jiaolong spear itself is not SSS level. Even, although the 2 jade cards are of SSS grade, Qin Feng asked Wu Yu, and the inheritance in them does not have SSS grade skills. It's just that because there are more SS grade skills, they are piled up to SSS grade by quantity. Secondly, it is the 4 spirit guards. But that is also the inheritance obtained from the miracle building. In other words, in fact, so far, the SSS grade item Qin Feng has obtained in the true sense is the job transfer scroll of the Thunder Mage. The first treasure chest output item in the competition. This shows its rarity. This is the top treasure level in the entire 1 to 10 level, novice area. Even in the central realm, some city lords are absolutely rare and absolutely high level. However, at this moment, 3 pieces still have growth potential. I can only say, awesome. Qin Feng sighed from the bottom of his heart. And after a sigh, at this time, Qin Feng also looked at the four women. He was already impatient and wanted to go back and build the human emperor palace. Let's see the attributes of the so-called human emperor robe and the human emperor sword. However, the four women were overworked and were still sleeping at this moment. Qin Feng still didn't have the heart to wake them up. Forget it. There's no rush anyway. Let them rest first. Quote. Thinking in his heart. At this time, Qin Feng simply sat cross-legged. Then, he opened the chat interface. He planned to check the messages on the chat interface to see if anything big happened today. However, just when Qin Feng opened the chat interface, the next moment, a voice suddenly rang through his mind. An abyss dimension space is connected, triggering a temporary regional event, abyss disaster. Now issuing a temporary regional task, resist the devil. This task can be accepted by all lords in the Qingshan area. Killing the abyss demon can get different points according to its strength level, and killing the abyss demon will have additional resource rewards and greatly increase the drop rate of the treasure chest. The reward will be based on the final points, demon killing treasure chest. Note, the abyss demon is the common enemy of all heavens. If it is allowed to break the seal and develop, it will cause a devastating disaster to the area. Therefore, this mission will force all lords to sign. Ding, Lord, you have 5 minutes to prepare. Listening to the sudden prompt sound, Qin Feng's brows were instantly furrowed. The message of the announcement was simple, but what it expressed was extremely serious. This is a mission of forced sign. However, this is not surprising. As the announcement said, the common enemy of all heavens, the abyss demon. This is a race with full aggressiveness, brutality, and military power. And, the most important thing is that his aggression and brutality are meaningless. That is, the so-called, fighting for destruction. The Zerg is also very aggressive. Wherever they pass, no grass grows, but they invade for the development of the race and to strengthen themselves. The Shira, demon, orcs and other tribes are also very brutal, but their brutality is limited. And the demons, the word, evil, describes their nature. The word, demon, explains their style of behavior. It can be said that this tribe is a combination of the Zerg and the demon. And they are not the races of the endless continent itself. Instead, they come from another large plane that is equal to the endless world, the abyss. This is the real enemy of all races. The reason why the endless world has such a lord hegemony. In fact, it is to resist the invasion of the abyss. In the central realm, in addition to fighting for hegemony with each other, all races are actually fighting against the abyss. It is said, the entire abyss is the gathering place of all negative emotions. In it, various negative demons are born. Recalling in my heart about the information of the abyss. Qin Feng's expression at this time is also gradually solemn. Because, just as it resounded in the regional announcement, if this tribe does not stop it, or even reseals it, it is very likely that this broken passage will continue to expand. At that time, if a high-level demon descends here, it will be a disaster for all the new lords. This luck is really bad. This area actually has a sealed abyss crack. Qin Feng could only shake his head at this time, feeling emotional. Under normal circumstances, the cracks in the abyss are concentrated in the central domain. Similar to the novice area of the endless world, most of them do not have such cracks. It is really unlucky to encounter the abyss crack. Because historical data shows that once an abyss crack appears in a certain area, it is a disaster for most new lords. Because this involves a rule of the endless world. That is, the threat of the abyss is greater than everything. The so-called forced sign. In essence, it is to let the lords delay and prolong the pace of the abyss invasion, so as to give the world rules, re-strengthen the seal, and close the channel. Therefore, under the forced sign, there will be only 2 results. If you can't win, then, there will be no chance to leave. Because, under the power of the rules of the endless world, the world will completely seal the channel at the moment when the lords lose. Of course, if the crisis can be resolved, then naturally, the lords can be given time to evacuate. Under this premise, the task of forced signs appears. All lords will also go all out. This is indeed a disaster. But it is also an opportunity. Qin Feng muttered again in his heart at this time. As mentioned in the previous announcement, in this large-scale forced sign, if the crisis can be resolved and the abyss demon can be killed, The benefits obtained are also extremely rich. Thinking so in his heart, Qin Fang's eyes gradually revealed a firm look. This is the confidence brought by strength. But in the next moment, Qin Fang suddenly realized a huge problem. That is, at this moment, he is in another novice area dozens of kilometers away from his own territory. And in the announcement just now, the preparation time given to each lord is only 5 minutes. This means that the situation is very urgent. Of course, this is not the key. The key is that in such a short time, Qin Fang has no possibility to mobilize his soldiers. Thinking of this, Qin Fang turned his head and looked at Daisy and the other 4 women. Then, he smiled bitterly. It seems that there are only a few of them. 3 minutes of preparation time means the situation in the abyss crack is extremely critical. It is imminent, and there is no extra time to prepare. The most important thing is, the endless world does exist, the world will. But the world will itself has no IQ to speak of, it just follows certain rules. The abyss invades. The world feels dangerous. Then issue a task and force a sign. This is understandable. After all, everyone lives in the endless world. If the abyss invades and corrodes the abyss area after the invasion, even the most adaptable insect swarm will find it difficult to survive. However, the sign lord, he will not sign his soldiers at all. It is very rigid. Of course, this kind of rigidity is actually a good thing for most of the strong. After all, if the world will really has intelligence, it is a good thing. The specific reason, Qin Fang thought of a novel he had read in his previous life. The story of the novel is about the birth of spiritual wisdom in the way of heaven, and no longer being fair. In the end, a group of ancient gods and the gods joined hands to fight against the sky. Yes, it is the tomb of the gods. However, for now, this rigidity makes Qin Fang a little embarrassed. Because there are no other soldiers beside him. It is too late to summon them in a short time. Should I take Daisy and the other 4 with me? It seems unnecessary. Qin Fang shook his head, thought about it, and gave up this idea. After all, among the 4 women, Daisy and Mei are considered to have strong combat power. Hu Tiantian and Hu Qingqing are pretty good in other aspects. Among the 4 people, 2 are burdens. If you take one with you, you have to protect them separately. Besides, I am stronger than Daisy now. Qin Fang opened his personal panel at this time. Level 55 talent. Samsara Eye, 6 paths unlocked profession. Necromancer skills. Summon the Undead Knight, Shinra Tensai, Wanxiang Tianyan, Chibaku Tensai. Passive. Combat rating 72. The 6 paths are completely unsealed. Physique, strength, and speed have all been greatly improved. Even though he is not good at close combat. But at this moment, the overall combat rating has reached 72. The most important thing is that the 3 magical skills of the Samsara Eye are unsealed. Qin Fang is confident that he should be able to fight against the strong men in the middle and even late 8th stages. And Daisy, it's about the same strength. However, there is the water of life, which can restore physical strength. Let's take Daisy with us. Mei can also be taken with us. After all, the strength of the Abyss Demon cannot be underestimated. Quote. After weighing the pros and cons, Qin Fang finally made a decision at this time. Then, let's arrange it this way for this sign. While muttering, Qin Fang slapped the ground with his palm at this time. Then, a magic circle appeared. Then, the Bull Demon clone and the Beast King clone were instantly summoned. It was at this time. The movement brought by the summoning woke up Daisy and others. The 4 women opened their eyes in confusion. When Daisy saw the Bull Demon clone being summoned, she was even more confused. Lord, what is this? After hearing this, Qin Fang directly took out the water of life he carried with him. He handed it to Mei and Daisy respectively. As for Hu Qingqing and Hu Tiantian, they didn't. After all, although the water of life can be produced continuously, but the output is not too high, it is a strategic resource. Since Hu Qingqing and Hu Tiantian did not plan to bring it, there was no need to waste this resource. Then, Qin Fang simply told the story. He looked at Hu Qingqing and the other 2 girls and said, "In a while, you will sit on the back of my Beast King clone. Just go all the way back to the territory." This is also the reason why Qin Fang summoned the Beast King clone. He did not intend to bring the Beast King clone with him. After all, As the six-path body, he can use the summoning and spiritualism technique. The combat power of the Beast King clone is not high. Therefore, Qin Feng intends to leave the Beast King clone in the territory. This summoning is purely to escort Hu Qingqing and the other two girls back to the territory. After arranging Hu Qingqing and the other two girls. At this time, Qin Feng looked at Daisy and the other two girls and said, "You can follow me to the abyss crack." While speaking, at this time, in his mind, a voice resounded. Ding, countdown ends. Please all lords, go through the portal and respond to the sign. The portal will last for 1 minute. A white space portal appeared out of thin air. It was several colors long and wide. It was so huge because the bodies of all races were different. Even the dragons could pass through it easily. Let's go. Qin Feng spoke at this time. While speaking, Qin Feng also took the lead and strode towards the passage in front of him. Following closely, the bull demon clone, Daisy, and Hu Mei all walked towards the passage. A burst of flashing and jumping. Dizziness was inevitable. However, Qin Feng had now reached level 55, and his physique was strong enough, plus his own energy to resist the external environment. This discomfort only lasted for a few seconds. As the status recovered. At this time, a sinister voice sounded. This lord is really petty. Only 3 people were sent at this critical moment. As his words fell, then, there were voices following immediately. HMPH, don't let me know who it is. Such a cunning person is worthy of being a human. So, in the territory I captured, no human lord survived. Yesterday, there was a guy begging me for mercy, and I chopped off his head with a knife. Mockery, threat, disdain. Even some human lords spoke loudly. Everyone, don't compare this guy with us. There is no such cunning person in our human race. If you know who this person is, you don't have to do anything. Our human lord will clean up the mess. Faced with such accusations, Qin Feng's expression was still calm. First of all, he did bring the least number of people. He took a quick look at the many lords around him. Basically, each of them had at least dozens of soldiers. He was the only one who had only 3 followers. After all, the other lords either stayed in the territory or went on an expedition with the army. In either case, there were a certain number of 10 lords around them. Unlike Qin Feng, he was so leisurely that he went to a hot spring. Of course, the most important reason was that this kind of sign mission was temporary. Therefore, it would block all the lords' information. Everyone could not see Qin Feng's current level. Even if they used the detection technique, it would not work. This was the rule imposed by the world's will. After all, at this stage, if it were not for the temporary sign, most lords would not meet. This rule would effectively protect the current development of each lord. Otherwise, if Qin Feng's level was revealed, he would dare to guarantee it. Now, all those who were shouting, one by one, immediately turned around and licked their asses. After all, level 55. 0. This means that the territory has been upgraded to level 6. At this stage, it is invincible. However, Qin Feng is more so. At this moment, the accusations are not stopping at all. Qin Feng was too lazy to defend himself, but slowly walked to the most arrogant lord and said lightly, "You know, if there were no restrictions on the world rules, you, including your soldiers, would be a pile of corpses now. But it doesn't matter. I remember your appearance." The indifferent words. The lord was slightly stunned. For some reason, his heart suddenly felt cold. But soon, he came back to his senses, glaring, "Human lord. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Too arrogant, everyone, the human race is too arrogant." After a lot of shouting. At this time, the ground shook. But a huge monster with a height of more than 10 meters came here. With its arrival, in an instant, the whole scene was instantly quiet. Because the one who came, was the behemoth. And in this area, it has been confirmed that there is only one lord who is a behemoth. Silent as a cicada, this behemoth grinned and said, "Human boy, are you arrogant? With so few people, you still threaten other lords who have contributed. Don't you take me, Kalia, seriously." Hearing this, the other lords around breathed a sigh of relief, and then as if they had a backbone, they shouted again, "Lord Kalia is mighty. Yes, this kid is too arrogant." The faces of the human lords changed slightly at this moment. Published a declaration. We, the Shangba Alliance, declare that this human race has nothing to do with us, and we despise him. We, the Tianxia Alliance, also represent the rest of the human race and despise him. Besieged by a crowd. At this time, Qin Feng raised his eyebrows, and then suddenly laughed, and then said, Lord Behemoth. If it weren't for the restrictions of the rules, internal fighting would not be allowed now. You are the same. After the words fell, a wild breath suddenly broke out. The substantial air waves made the other lords around them all look very different. A breath of wild beasts emanated from the body of the behemoth lord. Behemoths are originally a top-level tribe. Even the weakest violent behemoth can reach epic status with the power of blood. Moreover, the power of blood can be advanced. The behemoth lord in front of him. He was covered with white hair and faintly glowed with golden light. Silver behemoth, and was advancing to gold behemoth. This also meant that his rank had reached the legendary level, and even transformed into a legendary level. Now, as his anger burst out, waves of substantial blood and energy rushed into the sky, and the surging air waves made countless leaders change their faces. However, this breath, for Qin Feng, there was naturally no sense of oppression. He still looked at the other party indifferently. The atmosphere became more and more tense. In the distance, a figure looked around. The figure was not too tall. Compared with the surrounding lords and soldiers, she looked like a small pudding. The figure was Sha Yu. She was only about 1.6 meters tall. Except for a few short races, the other tribe's soldiers were basically at least 1.8 meters tall. Therefore, after looking around, Sha Yu couldn't help muttering, everyone is so tall. I can't see outside at all. While muttering, at this time, her eyes lit up. Then, she ran quickly towards a huge creature. Soon, in the confused eyes of the elves, Sha Yu looked at a very intellectual elf woman who exuded a gentle atmosphere. Between the lords, all can sense it. Therefore, Sha Yu said politely, this beautiful elf sister, can I ask a favor? The elf lord, Carrie, showed curiosity. But he didn't refuse it outright. In the central realm, the elves belong to the neutral camp, and have a good relationship with the human race. So he said, what's the matter? Sha Yu pointed to a creature next to him that was 15 meters tall and made of rocks and said, this is a mountain giant. It's really tall. Can I climb onto its shoulder? Just for a second, it'll be quick. Carrie was stunned, her expression clearly showing confusion. But she didn't refuse. After all, this wasn't a big deal. After getting the promise, Sha Yu hurriedly thanked him. The mountain giant also stretched out his hand and lifted him onto his shoulder. Sitting on the mountain giant's shoulder, Sha Yu suddenly felt her vision suddenly open. She immediately looked around. After looking around, her eyes finally lit up, found it. Excited, she jumped off the mountain giant's shoulder. Then, she thanked Carrie again and turned to leave. Suddenly, she stopped again. Then, in Carrie's stunned eyes, Sha Yu turned around and said solemnly, Sister Elf, you are so kind. Quote, you helped me this time, and I will help you next time if you have any problems. I am Sha Yu, the most loyal. After saying this, before Callie could reply, Sha Yu had already run away. Only Callie was left standing there in a daze. After a while, Callie laughed dumbly, not taking it seriously. Kalia's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Looking at Qin Feng, he slowly said, human boy. Indeed, there are rules and restrictions now because of the invasion of the abyss demons. But this is not the reason why you can be fearless. You will regret angering me so much. After the words fell. At this time, Kalia looked around and said with a grin, everyone. If any of you know the information about this human lord, quote, tell me and you will gain my friendship with Callie. Just at this moment, a voice suddenly sounded. Yeah, I finally found it. I've been looking for it for a long time. Sha Yu finally came over at this time. But it was obvious, she didn't pay attention to the situation around her. She just walked straight towards Qin Feng. Until, there were whispers all around. This human woman is miserable. At this time, she actually dared to stand with the human man. Tisk tisk, if you offend Kalia, you will definitely die. It's hard to say. How can it be hard to say? Do you think this human man can compete with Kalia? That's not the case. What I mean is that he may not even live to that day. Maybe he died in this abyss invasion. And even if he survives this abyss invasion, once his identity is exposed, who knows how many lords will choose to attack him. Yes, he has offended the public. Listening to the voices around him, Sha Yu finally realized that something was wrong. Looking at the calm Qin Feng, he whispered, "What did you do?" It seems to have aroused public anger. Qin Feng heard it and didn't care. "I didn't do anything. Just a bunch of trash who like to bark." Sha Yu was stunned and whispered, "But, what are they talking about, Kalia?" "I remember, wasn't that Lord Bishay?" Qin Feng shrugged. "Yes, including that trash." Quote. Sha Yu's mouth twitched slightly when he heard this, and for a moment, he didn't know what to say. After several seconds, he finally said, "You are too brave." Qin Feng grinned. "If you are afraid, you can immediately declare that you are breaking off relations with me. They shouldn't pursue you." The words fell. At this time, Kalia also said, "Yes, human woman, you seem to know this guy. If you can tell me his information, I Kalia can guarantee that I won't embarrass you. If I meet you in the subsequent Lord War, I will not kill you, and I can even give you the status of a subordinate lord." How? Sha Yu was stunned when he heard this, and then said, "You want to know his information?" "I really know. And I can tell you." Quote. Qin Feng's expression remained unchanged after hearing this. He was not afraid that Sha Yu would reveal his information. After all, in the case of the lords' hegemony, he would sooner or later face these powerful lords. There is no difference between facing them now and facing them in a month or half a year. If you want to be the final winner in this area, this is something you must face. The only possibility is, slightly disappointed. However, he can also understand this behavior. Seek good fortune and avoid danger. This is biological instinct. However, what Qin Feng did not expect was that Sha Yu put his hands on his waist and said proudly, "As long as you choose to submit to me, I will tell you his information." Kalia was also surprised when he heard this. Then, his whole face was ugly. "Are you kidding me?" Sha Yu smiled. "I'm kidding you. What role are you? You actually dared to threaten the future queen. Bah, who do you think I am? I am a man of loyalty." Kalia laughed in anger. Okay. Don't let me know the news of you two. I might as well tell you that I just happened to have a dual war order in my hand. I don't know which one of you will bear my anger." Sha Yu's expression clearly showed a trace of panic. However, soon, she calmed down. "I'm not afraid of you. HMPH. Let's go." After saying that, Sha Yu pulled Qin Feng and turned away. The other lords did not stop him at this time. After all, under the rules, there is no point in stopping him. A moment later, surrounded by the soldiers brought by Sha Yu was speechless. No wonder it caused public anger. "You only brought so many people. Although Sister Daisy is very strong, they don't know it. Also, you are too stubborn. You have to clash with them. In the end, you killed them." Qin Feng smiled. "Why are you scared now? Weren't you very brave just now? Besides, you don't seem to be bad when it comes to being stubborn, right? You are obviously scared to death, but you still pretend to be not afraid. Just now, I saw that when Behemoth said that he had a dual war order, someone trembled all over." Sha Yu's cheeks instantly turned red, and she said, "No way. I'm not afraid." Qin Feng laughed. "Yes, you are the woman who will become the king." "Is that so, the little bean queen?" Sha Yu was quite pleased to hear the first sentence, but when the second sentence came into her ears, she immediately bared her teeth. "Who are you talking about, little bean?" Qin Feng smiled even more. "Isn't it? It's hard for me to imagine a little bean being worshipped by the subjects. It's so funny just to think about it." Sha Yu bared her teeth. I'm going to bite you to death." "Are these the soldiers you brought?" Qin Feng looked around at this time. There were about 100 soldiers around, mainly human. There were also about 20 alien soldiers, called steel-armored wild boars, which were a kind of magic beast. They were not weak. They started at the elite level. Their defense was extremely outstanding, and their ability to charge was very strong. I think they should have been obtained from the wild camp. In addition, among the human soldiers, Qin Feng also recognized the Tiger Guards, which was a special human soldier that reached the king level. Listening to Qin Feng's words, Sha Yu also straightened his chest again at this time, put his hands on his waist and said, "Not bad. The soldiers of this queen. These are all elites." Qin Feng heard this and nodded slightly. He had to admit it. Sha Yu's current soldier configuration was still very strong. At least, it surpassed at least 90% of the lords at this stage. Level 5. Qin Feng asked again at this time. Sha Yu nodded, with a slightly proud expression. "I reached level 5 the day before yesterday, which was the day after the novice period ended. Now, I should only have hero units, which are slightly inferior to you. Hehe, the advantage in the early stage is now being caught up by me. This is the strength of this queen." Qin Feng grinned. Queen doubting is indeed not weak. Sha Yu glared. "Say it again." Qin Feng was just about to reply. At this time, in my mind, the prompt sound rang out. Ding, assembly completed, about to enter the deep abyss passage. The prompt sounded. Qin Feng looked forward at this time. There was an obvious crack there, tearing the space apart. It was as dark as ink inside, and nothing could be seen. But it exuded a certain evil aura. Wisps of black energy occasionally overflowed from it. And after these overflowing black energies stained some vegetation near the cracks, these vegetation withered instantly. Even the surrounding land became dark under the erosion of this energy. "It's really terrible," quote, Qin Feng murmured. At this time, a stream of energy once again enveloped everyone. This was the second transmission. The first transmission only gathered the lords here. This time, the transmission would send everyone to the crack to resist the abyss demons. Feeling the energy wrapping, the next moment, all the lords gathered here were teleported to the crack. Is this the abyss? Qin Feng's eyes changed slightly. The first time he entered the abyss crack, he clearly felt that an extremely powerful energy was trying to invade his body. This is also the terrible thing about the abyss. This energy is everywhere inside. It is called negative energy. Once it invades the body, it will gradually affect people's minds. When you are completely lost, you will fall and eventually become a member of the abyss demon's ministers. Moreover, it is said that the structure of the abyss is not like the endless world, but a huge graphic world. A three-dimensional structure. Once, it even broke to more than 7,000 floors. The strength can easily resist its erosion. Therefore, Qin Feng only mobilizes his energy slightly, which is to isolate this influence. In the abyss, there is no vegetation. The environment is quite harsh. The whole body is red. From afar, there are volcanoes. In this environment, most creatures cannot survive. And the other lords are also looking around. However, just when the lords were still exploring the surrounding environment, a series of roars sounded from afar. "Gaga, look what I found. Flesh and blood of the endless world. They actually came here to die." A series of roars, screams, countless abyss demons appeared in sight. These demons, each of them has a different shape. Some have wings on their backs, some have a single horn on their heads. The auras they exude are also different. But the only thing they have in common is their overall postures are all distorted, and the auras they exude are also extremely violent. Hiss, so many. Among the lords, someone murmured, his voice trembling. And just as he said, as these abyss demons began to emerge, flying in the sky, running wildly on the ground. At first glance, there are more than tens of thousands of them. They are completely like a wave, rushing towards this place. Under this impact, chaos is inevitable. However, fortunately, at this time, a figure rose into the air. It was a huge black dragon. It swept its eyes over the crowd and let out a dragon roar, which calmed the whole scene. Then, he said loudly, "Everyone, hold on to the defense line, and never let these abyss demons break through the defense line. The task of killing the abyss lord will be undertaken by the strong men like us." A leader appeared. The situation was finally a little more controllable. Most of the lords came back to their senses at this moment and spoke one after another. "Don't be afraid. These guys are just numerous. We just need to hold on. This is not a difficult task. Bina and Lord Kalia are responsible for killing the Abyss Lord." With loud shouts, a group of lords also began to command their soldiers to form a military formation. Soon, a defense line of thousands of meters was set up. Each lord was basically responsible for a section of the area according to the strength of the troops. And behind the defense line was a space gap. At this moment, the space gap was shrinking. This is the result of the repair of the Endless World's rule power. However, this gap will not be completely closed unless the Abyss demons completely break through the defense line. And this requires the lords to cooperate with each other sincerely. If at this time, there are still lords who choose to be sneaky, they will be collectively targeted by all other lords. This is why Qin Feng is despised and targeted. After all, every less part of the troops. It means that other lords need to be responsible for more areas. Sha Yu also took the initiative to take on a defense line of about 20 meters. As for Qin Feng, at this time, he was naturally despised again. But no matter how despised, the lord next to him still sent soldiers to complete the connection of the defense line. After all, this battle is related to all personnel. The defense line is arranged. At this time, the lord finally couldn't help but ask, "What about you? Human lord, can you hold the 3-meter defense line?" Qin Feng was not angry, looking at the abyss demons that were gradually approaching. He turned around and smiled. "You are from the Wood Spirit clan." The lord was slightly stunned, and then said, "So what?" Qin Feng grinned and said, "Nothing. It's just that I still have high hopes for your tribe." Quote. The leader of the Wood Spirit tribe was slightly stunned, a little confused. "What do you mean?" At this time, Qin Feng raised his hand. A black ice spear appeared in his hand. Then, the other hand stretched out. Tianyan of Wanxiang. While speaking, it has already hit the defense line, just a few dozen meters away, at the forefront, dozens of abyss demons. It is uncontrollable, and the body suddenly accelerates forward. At this time, Qin Feng held the gun in his right hand and stabbed it. A frost dragon suddenly appeared, and instantly froze all the dozens of abyss demons, and then turned them into pieces of broken ice. At this time, Qin Feng's voice sounded again. "Nothing else means. That is, in fact, I don't plan to defend. So, I believe that the Wood Spirit tribe should be able to help defend a few more meters. I'm optimistic about you." While speaking, Qin Feng's figure has already turned into a stream of light, and it is actually going directly towards the abyss demons that are like a wave. At the same time, the bull demon clone also jumped up at this moment. In the back, Daisy's Humei's voice also sounded. "Lord, wait for us." The lord of the Wood Spirit clan was dumbfounded at this time. In particular, recalling the scene of Qin Feng's instant attack just now. The whole body trembled slightly. On the side, Sha Yu stomped her feet at this time. "I want to go too." Sha Yu stamped her feet anxiously. But there was no way. She came with her soldiers. And now the defense line has been laid out, it is impossible to evacuate temporarily. Therefore, she needs to stay to command the battle. At the same time, her own profession is only auxiliary, and her ability to advance is not strong. She can't charge like Behemoth and Dragon Lord. At this moment, she can only look unwilling. And on the side, the Lord of Muling was even more dumbfounded at this time. Because he saw Qin Feng, who rushed into the Abyss Demon, was not only not drowned by the Abyss Demon like a tide. As if entering an unmanned place, in just such a short moment, he has already advanced more than 100 meters. This also led to the fact that there was no Abyss Demon rushing in front of him for a while. At this time, if you still can't react, how strong is Qin Feng, then there is something wrong with your brain. Thinking about it, I actually spoke to him in a weird way before. The Mulling Lord was numb all over, and the leaves on his head were shaking continuously. For a long while, he came back to his senses. Looking at the depressed Sha Yu, he forced a smile and said, "This human lord. You seem to have a good relationship with the lord just now." Sha Yu heard it and nodded. "It's okay, it's an alliance relationship." The Mulling Lord smiled a little more kindly and said, "Well, my name is Eric, does your alliance recruit allies?" Like Qin Feng, they rushed towards the entire Abyss Demon wave. There are many more, and the goal of these lords is very clear. That is, kill the Abyss Lord in this crack space. Once the Abyss Lord can be killed, the whole battle will become much easier. Because, in fact, the combat power structure of the Abyss. It is actually the Lord system. In an area, the strongest Abyss Demon has absolute control over this area. If the Lord dies, the abyss demons will instantly enter a state of chaos. They may even kill each other. There is such an inference. The reason why the lords compete for hegemony in the endless world. Perhaps, it is imitating the system of the abyss to resist the erosion of the abyss. Of course, this is just an inference. At present, there are still many mysteries in the whole world. Of course, it is not easy to kill the Abyss Lord. Even if this is just a space crack in the abyss. It is located on the edge of the shallow layer of the abyss. But it is still difficult to do. Because the number of demons in the abyss is far more than that in the endless world. At this moment, the number of abyss demons that have appeared is already counted in hundreds of thousands and millions. This is still the case that the abyss demons themselves have been in a state of killing each other. Otherwise, their number will be even greater. Qin Feng once read a document. It is said that the abyss is the gathering place of all negative energy in the universe. And the endless world is the central holy land of this universe. In the past, the abyss was not so powerful. Then each layer of the abyss. In fact, it is a large world that has been eroded. And each crack in the abyss is a small world that has been eroded. Now, the abyss gathers the negative power of the entire universe, and even begins to threaten the endless world. If the endless world is also eroded, then, the entire universe will be eroded by negative energy and turned into a dead zone. Of course, this document is also proposed in an inferred tone. But it is undeniable that under the promotion of negative energy, the number of abyss demons is indeed extremely large. At this moment, some of the more powerful lords, like Qin Feng, led their own elites and launched a charge. However, there are too many abyss demons. After entering it, most of the lords found it difficult to move forward. Even, they were constantly forced back and returned to the defense line. Only a small number of lords can withstand the impact of these demons, surround and kill them, and advance slowly. Among them, there are two battle groups that are the most eye-catching. One of them is the Behemoth Lord. It is a warlord, and most of its resources are piled on its own strength. Now, with less than 10 high-level orc soldiers guarding it, it is killing the abyss demon ministers. However, even if there are thousands of abyss demons around, it can't stop its pace. The blood is surging all over the body, and the claws are probing. Every attack will stir up dozens of meters of blood-red claw light. It is easy to tear the bodies of abyss demons. The other one belongs to the dragon Lord Baina. It is flying in the sky. There are two dragons beside him. One is an epic, green dragon. The other is a legendary, fire dragon. Itself is also a legendary black dragon. This is the terrifying thing about the dragon clan. The heroes they recruited are at least epic. However, these two heroes also cost most of their resources. There are only a few dozen soldiers under their command. And these soldiers did not follow the charge, but stayed at the defense line in the rear. But the power brought by these three dragons is extremely terrifying. Dragon breath spews. In an instant, dozens or even hundreds of demons can be taken away. Most of the lords' eyes are focused here. Qin Feng, however. At this moment, not many people pay attention to him. Because, he and Sha Yu were basically squeezed to the edge of the entire defense line. In addition, the speed of Qin Feng's team's advance was ridiculously fast. This also led to, most of the lords didn't notice it at all. In fact, at the side, there was a team that had already broken into the middle of this group of abyss demons. Even Baina and Kalia had just broken into the front area at this moment. Shinra Tensai, facing the abyss demons that were rushing towards him. Qin Feng raised his hand. Suddenly, a circle of Wuyan suddenly spread out to the surroundings. Bang! More than 100 abyss demons were directly bounced away within a distance of more than 10 meters. Moreover, under the terrible force, it was shattered in the process of flying. Unfortunately, because it had already advanced to a deep enough position, Qin Feng and others had already been blocked by the abyss demons. No one saw this terrifying scene. After all, these abyss demons were not weak. At least they were all at level 3. Among them, there were demons with level 4, level 5, and even level 6 combat power. However, with just one blow, hundreds were killed instantly. The scene was shocking, and you have to know that in this encirclement, it was not just close-range attacks. Energy attacks were also continuous. The previous blow completely eliminated those attacks. However, as the surroundings were cleared for a moment. The next second, there were another abyss demon, surrounding and killing them. But at this time, Qin Feng did not need to take action. Hu Mei's gentle voice resounded at this moment. Quote. Extremely cold and frosty air. While speaking, accompanied by Hu Mei's finger gesture, endless cold air spreads around. This is one of the spells in the Jade card. When Hu Mei turned into a human form, her own talent and bones were excellent, and her bloodline was advanced. She reached the epic level. Therefore, Qin Feng directly gave Wu Yu's inheritance Jade card to Hu Mei last night after the battle with her. After learning a lot of high-level spells, Hu Mei's rank was also upgraded to the legendary level. Although, she is not a hero unit. But because she has refined the demon pill, her level has reached level 60, which is higher than Qin Feng and Daisy. Moreover, what she released was not magic. It is a real cultivation spell, which is driven by the spirit calendar. The power is greater than magic. In terms of destructive power alone, it has definitely reached the 8th level. Therefore, visible to the naked eye, the cold air spreads dozens of meters. The killing range is larger than Qin Feng's Shinra Tensai. Of course, this does not mean that Shinra Tensai is weak. It's just that Qin Feng Zhao Qian did not use too much powerful energy. If he exerts his full strength and releases the super god-piercing sign, hundreds of meters will be raised to the ground. But it's not necessary. He positioned himself at this moment to protect Hu Mei and Daisy and buy time to cast spells. And in fact, it is true. As Hu Mei's attack is over, as the demons around her attack again, Daisy's magic is also ready. Thunder prison. Thunder roars. Then, Qin Feng's cooling time is up. BXX. Shinra Tensai. Bang. The abyss demon was knocked away and died. It seems that it's not too difficult. Push all the way forward. In just a few minutes, Qin Feng has moved forward more than hundreds of meters. Even, it was obvious that the nearby abyss demons were becoming scarce. After all, abyss demons were not infinitely pure. Most of the abyss demons rushed to the front area. There were fewer in the back. However, just at this time, a huge figure in front made Qin Feng raise his eyebrows slightly. But after the detection, he shook his head again. Unfortunately, it's just an elite monster, not the Lord. As they broke into a relatively backward position, gradually, some elite and even higher level abyss demons began to appear. At the same time, their average level almost reached level 6 or above. At this moment, in front of Qin Feng, an abyss demon exuding the evil power of greed stood in front of everyone. This is the characteristic of abyss demons. The lowest level demons have relatively mixed negative forces in their bodies. The whole is in a state of chaos and disorder. They even kill and devour each other. But after eliminating the rest of the mixed negative forces, only one negative force remains, such as greed, lust, gluttony, anger, laziness. When in this situation, the abyss demon is considered to have completely advanced. And in fact, only this level of abyss demons are recognized by the rest of the abyss demons. The rest, such as the abyss demons that gathered into a wave before. There is another name, that is, cannon fodder. The abyss demon with only a single negative force will gradually become more rational as the negative force becomes more refined. The lower the level, the more susceptible it is to this negative force. At this moment, the abyss demon in front of him is 6 or 7 meters tall, with a pair of eyes on his twisted face. In each eye, there is a sense of greed. At the same time, he uttered a series of mutterings. What a beautiful woman, I want her so much. I want this face too. And that spear, I want both, I want both. As he spoke, the demon strode towards Qin Feng and others. Qin Feng's expression did not show any ripples. Under the detection technique, the message of the abyss demon in front of him had already been known. Low-level greedy demon. Grade, Elite 550, level, 65. Skill, Greedy Claw. Passive, Greedy Evil Force. Combat rating, 68. Strength, not weak. Reached the advanced level of level 7. But with this strength, Qin Feng didn't even need to make a move. On the side, Daisy, whose face was frowned by his gaze, raised her hand and a thunder spear appeared in her hand. Swish! The thunder spear broke through the air, directly penetrated his body. At the same time, a ray of lightning exploded, and it was completely wiped out from the world. At this time, a treasure chest also fell to the ground. Qin Feng smiled when he saw this scene. Another one. Along the way, he killed a lot of ordinary abyss demons. In fact, treasure chests were also dropped. Although, they were just ordinary resource treasure chests. But there were quite a few. Qin Feng opened the package and took a look. His smile became even brighter. Wooden resource box times 277. Iron resource box times 46. Silver qualification box times 5. Looking at the numbers in the treasure box, Qin Feng roughly calculated in his heart. According to the average value of the wooden treasure box, 50 points of resources, this is 13,000 plus resources. Iron treasure box, 20,000 plus resources. Silver treasure box, 15,000 plus resources. This is close to 48,000 resources. And Qin Feng looked at his Lord panel at this time. Killing these abyss demons also has resource points. And killing all the way. The resource points alone have risen by a full 35,000 points. In other words, the current resource income alone is more than 8 square. The key is that this is more than that. Qin Feng looked at a panel at this time. This is the panel that appeared after entering the abyss crack. It is the score panel. And currently, the list is right. Showing data. Your current score, 14,052. Current ranking, 1. You can't see other people's scores. But Qin Feng himself doesn't care about these. At this moment, looking at the points and thinking about the previous gains, Qin Feng suddenly stopped. This abrupt scene made Daisy and Hume slightly stunned. Sir, what are you doing? Qin Feng grinned, turned around, and said, let's go back and kill another wave. These guys can't be killed. How can so many abyss demons break through to the back left? Behemoth Lord Kalia waved his claws and killed all the abyss demons within a range of more than 20 meters again. But when he looked up, he immediately saw more abyss demons rushing over. And it didn't even take 2 steps forward. This situation also made it somewhat powerless. However, it was at this time. Above the sky, Bina's voice came, Behemoth, let's cooperate. Kalia looked up, his eyes were cold. I don't have the habit of cooperating with lizards. A hint of anger also appeared in Bina's eyes at this moment. Idiot. This abyss invasion is not something that a single group can resist. If we don't cooperate, then wait for the defense line to be broken and be trapped in the abyss forever. Hearing this, Kalia looked back and could still vaguely see from a distance. Under the impact of countless abyss demons, the defense line in the rear is also under great pressure at this moment. It is indeed unknown how long it can hold out. After weighing it, it finally looked up with a cold look, only this time. Bina snorted. You don't need to say it. When this matter is over, when the lords compete for hegemony, I will not hold back. While speaking, the two also reached a cooperation. At the same time, some other lords also gradually realized the importance of cooperation. Starting no longer fighting alone, but with Bina and Kalia as the main force, advancing layer by layer. Under this situation, the overall advancement efficiency is indeed faster. However, just when the other lords were fighting, at the side of the battle group, accompanied by flashes of lightning, in an instant, a large area turned into an open space. Until they saw several figures walking out of it. Several lords nearby all showed astonished expressions at this time. However, what surprised them even more was, several figures turned around and killed towards the abyss demons again. Back and forth several times. The result was, the defense of 100 meters, surprisingly, only a few abyss demons rushed over. Mu Ling Lord Eric recognized Qin Feng and others. At this time, he looked at Sha Yu with a confused face and asked, what are they doing? Sha Yu touched his chin, pondered for a few seconds, and said, well, if I'm not mistaken, quote, they should be brushing points. After the words fell, Sha Yu showed a trace of annoyance again. I really want to go. While speaking, Sha Yu looked at Eric and said, how about I give you the responsibility of this section of my defense line? I'll give you the temporary command. Before Eric replied, Sha Yu had already led 2 heroes under his command and ran to the front. Eric was left standing there in a daze. Hey, why are you here? Don't care about your soldiers. Qin Feng looked at Sha Yu, who was catching up with him from behind with a surprised look on his face. Sha Yu heard the words and smiled. I gave the Lord of the Wood Spirit Clan the temporary command. Qin Feng heard the words and fired a Shinra Tensai, which once again bounced the gathering of the Abyss Demons away, and said, You are really bold. Do you know each other? Then hand over the temporary command. Aren't you afraid that he will use your soldiers as cannon fodder? Sha Yu curled her lips. They must be cannon fodder. In our defense area, there are not many Abyss Demons that can break through. You killed them all. If you don't come again, you won't even get a sip of soup for this sign mission. I don't care, we are allies, you eat meat, you have to give me soup. Qin Feng grinned. Then you are late. I plan to kill a few more and then go to deal with the Abyss Lord. How many you can kill in these few trips depends on you. Sha Yu was slightly stunned when she heard this, and she didn't quite understand what Qin Feng meant by penetration. In her opinion, Qin Feng and others should not have broken through the wave of Abyss Demons. It's just that because of the strong firepower, the Abyss Demons have been suppressed and not threatened the defense line. As for the several times of going back and forth, in her opinion, it was just a charge, and then being forced back. Until, a few minutes later, when she followed Qin Feng and killed through the surging tide of the Abyss Demons. Finally, she showed a look of astonishment. But then, the whole person couldn't help muttering to himself, It's over, it's over. If I had known you were so powerful, why would I defend? Just follow and kill. It's a big loss, a big loss. How many resources and points are missing? Woo woo woo. Hearing this, Qin Feng smiled even more. It's indeed a little late. Next, it's almost time to charge forward. Otherwise, the magic power, spiritual power, will not be enough in a while. Quote. At this time, Qin Feng also showed a little regret. He wanted to brush on indefinitely. But physical strength can be restored by the water of life. Magic power and the like cannot be maintained. He still needs to ensure a certain amount of energy to deal with the Abyss Lord. Also, he still needs to consider whether other lines of defense can be attacked in a row. If he really continues to be greedy and there are any major loopholes, it will be more trouble than gain. After all, if the channel is really closed, even if he is strong, he can't fight against the massive Abyss Demons. Don't look at it now. It seems that a lot of people have been killed. But in fact, this number is actually not even 1/10 of the total. How much energy is left? A Shinra Tensai cleared a vacuum zone at the same time. Qin Feng asked everyone at this time. Daisy answered immediately. About 60%. Hume also responded. Almost. Sha Yu. I'm 90%. Qin Feng rolled his eyes and said speechlessly, Yours is not important. Sha Yu smiled, but did not refute. Because, at this moment, she already knew that Qin Feng had reached the 6th level. The leading level, plus after the last cooperation, she also knew that Qin Feng's hero unit grade was ridiculously high. In this case, the difference in combat power is quite obvious. Therefore, after a silly smile, she whispered, Just make up the number. Qin Feng ignored her. Instead, he continued to arrange the next battle plan. Then next, Daisy, Hume, you should reduce the number of shots. It just so happens that the Abyss Demons behind are no longer based on quantity. My Bull Demon clone will be the main force. Its physical strength is still full now, and it has hardly consumed any energy. As Qin Feng finished speaking, everyone naturally had no objection. At the same time, everyone once again broke through the siege and broke through the wave of ordinary Abyss Demons. Instantly, the number of Abyss Demons dropped sharply. However, the number of ordinary Abyss Demons has indeed decreased a lot. But the higher grade Abyss Demons have become an obstacle here. However, facing a high-level Abyss Demon. At this time, Qin Feng suddenly found that his Bull Demon clone seemed to restrain them a little. The reason is also very simple. The composition of the Abyss Demon, the difficulty and strength. One of the most important points is the infection of negative emotions. If the battle cannot be ended in a short time under the same level, the negative energy attached to the Abyss Demon will continue to erode and affect. This influence is subtle. For example, fighting with an angry demon. The final result is that the more they fight, the angrier they will get, and eventually they will even lose their minds. However, The bull demon clone will not be affected. Because it is just a corpse. The most important thing is, Qin Feng's control over the bull demon clone is not the so-called soul possession, nor is it a possession. Instead, it is linked by the yin and yang power of the samsara eye. In essence, the bull demon clone is still a corpse. Moreover, this kind of dead body is different from the undead. As the strength of the undead increases, they will also be born with intelligence and have soul power. Low-level undead may not be affected. But the key is that low-level undead can't deal with this kind of high-level abyss demon. Blood, Qin Feng murmured. The bull demon clone has already rushed forward. Countless negative forces rushed into its body, but there was no reaction, like a mud cow entering the sea. Of course, negative force is also a kind of energy. It has lethality. However, most of these attacks, for the current bull demon clone, it is just like tickling. Because, after killing so many abyss demons, Qin Feng, who was originally only level 55, and Daisy have reached level 60. Naturally, the bull demon clone has also completed the level synchronization. Under the complete power of the 6 paths, the strength of the Shira clone has also increased. At this moment, the combat rating of the bull demon clone has reached level 75. Moreover, this level 75 is almost purely obtained by physical strength. Kill all around. Ruthless iron hands. Crippling strike. Qin Feng made a series of sounds that were meaningless to Sha Yu. But soon, she seemed to be infected. She also shouted. Shadow entanglement. Dark night blessing. After shouting, Sha Yu was extremely excited. Shouting it out really feels very powerful. Qin Feng grinned. Really? I think so too. Then, in the midst of shouting. Then, they continued to advance. During this period, they occasionally encountered some situations that were difficult to deal with in a short period of time. However, Daisy and Hume could resolve the crisis with a little effort at this time. Moving forward all the way, one after another, the abyss demons were killed. Sha Yu looked very excited. Finally, he couldn't help but say, "It's a big profit, a big profit. After this sign is over, I should be able to upgrade to level 6 territory soon. Do you know how many resources I got?" Qin Feng raised his eyebrows. How much? Sha Yu was extremely excited. Including the treasure chest, it's more than 60,000. Moreover, the current score ranks 5th, and I will definitely get the reward of the demon hunting treasure chest in the end. Qin Feng said, "Oh," indicating that he knew. Then, without any emotional fluctuations, Sha Yu, at this time, asked curiously, "What about you? You must have more, right?" Qin Feng said calmly, "Not much. About 350,000 resources." Sha Yu's eyes widened. "So many?" Qin Feng continued, "With the treasure chest, there are about 600,000. That's just 10 times yours. As for the points, 153,500 ranks first now." Sha Yu's beautiful eyes widened. Then, she murmured again, "What a big loss, what a big loss. If I had followed from the beginning, I should have at least 150,000 resources. And the seed points ranking will be higher." Qin Feng heard this and smiled and said, "Isn't this a chance? If we can kill the Abyss Lord, maybe the points can be improved." Quote. Sha Yu's eyes lit up. Yes. As the two were talking. At this time, Daisy's voice sounded, "My lord, something happened ahead." Qin Feng came back to his senses after hearing this and looked ahead. However, in a deep pit hundreds of meters away, a thick black aura kept coming out. After carefully sensing it, Sha Yu on the side almost said at the same time as Qin Feng, "Yes, Lord of the Abyss." As they were talking, everyone's expressions were all happy. Qin Feng even decisively ordered, "Kill them." As they were talking, Daisy and Hume also took action. Killed all the strange and somewhat lazy abyss demons around. Just a moment later, everyone had already arrived in front of the deep pit. Then, they all frowned. The pit was about 100 meters deep. Inside, a huge creature covered with rotten fat was lying on the ground. All around, there were all kinds of excrement, and the stench was overwhelming. Even half of the body was infiltrated. This scene was too much for Qin Feng, who had a very good mental endurance. Sha Yu even vomited immediately. "What is this? So disgusting." Qin Feng heard this and released the detection spell immediately. Lazy Demon. Con. Rank. Epic. Abyss Lord. Level. 75. Combat Power Rating. 80. Skills. Corrupted Breath. Lazy Power. Note. High-level Lazy Demon. The other side. At this moment, in the front battlefield, all the lords worked together and finally it broke through the wave of ordinary abyss demons. However, everyone did not dare to be careless. Baina said loudly, "These abyss demons will continue to attack the defense line. We can't waste time. We must work hard to find the abyss lord and kill him, so that we can relieve the pressure. I know everyone is very tired, but we must cheer up." Following, the lords who rushed over responded one after another. Kalia even panted slightly and said, "Stop talking nonsense. Just start killing." Everyone set off again, just ready to move forward. However, at this moment, suddenly, a prompt sound suddenly rang. Ding, the Abyss Lord is dead. The crisis of this sign event has been resolved. After 10 minutes, you will be teleported. During this period, you can kill the Abyss monsters and obtain resources. The Abyss Lord died. The Abyss monsters, because of the removal of restraints. Most of the ordinary Abyss monsters began to be in chaos again. The remaining high-level Abyss monsters, although they have wisdom, are about to start competing for the new Lord position. This also means that they will hardly pose a threat to the endless world in a short period of time. This battle is naturally over. And the last 10 minutes. It is equivalent to welfare time. However, after hearing such a prompt sound, the lords on the defense line naturally cheered. Lord Baina and the others did it. As expected of the Dragon Clan and Behemoth. Too strong. We actually survived the sign mission without paying much price. The Abyss Demon is not that good. That's right, it's said that there will be heavy losses. However, Baina and others who are near the middle area at this moment are confused at this moment. What? Dead? How is it possible? Outside the pit, Qin Feng yawned with a lazy look on his face at this time. This guy is really scary. But, you are better than me, King. Chapter 71. Beside the deep pit, Qin Feng's expression was a little strange. His eyelids were almost closed. He looked drowsy. This situation lasted for a long time before it gradually dissipated. Then, Qin Feng also showed a trace of fear. Fortunately, I am more skilled. A few minutes ago, as the battle broke out, Qin Feng suddenly found that the Abyss Lord in front of him was like a sandbag. He hardly fought back. He let the attacks hit his body. However, his defense and recovery ability were ridiculously high. The attacks hit him with holes, but he could not be killed. On the contrary, as time went on, Qin Feng found that the attacks of the people on his side were getting weaker and weaker. On the side, Sha Yu yawned. "Qin Feng, I'm so sleepy. Let's take a break." "Yeah, why do you have to attack so hard? I really want to lie down." Wu, listening to the words of everyone around him, Qin Feng also found that he seemed to have a sense of fatigue. And this sense of fatigue came from the deepest part of 690. It is not controlled by willpower. The body gradually began to lose strength. Qin Feng also realized the power of this Abyss Lord at this time. The opponent, Lazy Demon, too lazy to attack. Therefore, its attributes are almost all added to life, defense, and recovery. As long as it cannot be killed quickly, then, the decadent breath it exudes will continue to have a subtle influence. Qin Feng discovered at this time. In the deep pit, there looked like vomiting and excrement. In fact, it is simply the energy of its usual accumulation. Once it is hurt, these energies will be absorbed by it and accelerate recovery. It is very much like a blood pool. Even, Qin Feng guessed. If it is completely affected by its lazy power, the final result is to step into the liquid below and become a part of it. In an instant, Qin Feng's mind turned rapidly. In the blood pool, I want to kill a meat shield. It's not realistic at all. So, I must pull it out. While muttering, Qin Feng already felt that his eyelids were getting heavier. Beside him, Daisy and Hume even yawned and leaned on him. As for Sha Yu and the two heroes under his command, they were weaker and in a worse state. They had already laid down limply, looking listless and uninterested in anything. "I'm so tired. Why do you have to work so hard? Just go to sleep." Quote. Listening to Sha Yu's mumbling, Qin Feng didn't dare to delay any longer. Strongly holding on to his spirit, raised his left hand, and then mobilized the energy in his body. Tianyan of Wanxiang. With a low roar, the super-strong gravity surged towards the Abyss Lord. Visible to the naked eye, his huge body was gradually attracted and slowly floated in the air. But at this moment, under the blessing of gravity, the opponent's body also stopped. Looking from a distance, it seems that, because of lying in the same place for a long time, some of the body tissues of the Abyss Demon have been stuck to the attached surface. Really, disgusting. Qin Feng's voice became much slower. Fortunately, it has not been completely affected by it. Immediately, the energy infusion was increased. Finally, as the gravity continued to intensify, his body was finally pulled out of the pit. In this case, Qin Feng did not use Earth-Shattering Star immediately. Because, although Earth-Shattering Star is a big move with great power, it can block and isolate things. But to form Earth-Shattering Star, it is necessary to absorb nearby substances to form a sphere. In this case, it is likely that the accumulated liquid in the deep pit will also be absorbed. Instead, the gain will outweigh the loss. Controlling the direction of gravity, Qin Feng turned around at this time. Then, he shouted again. Shinra Tensai. Bang! A huge repulsive force came. This Abyss Demon Lord was thrown hundreds of meters away. And it was far away from the direction of the deep pit. In this case, Qin Feng finally had no scruples. A black gravity ball was thrown out and suspended above the head of the Abyss Lord. Then, the surrounding land began to tear apart, and countless stones flew into the air with the ball as the center. The Abyss Lord was also wrapped in it. In just a few tens of seconds, a huge sphere with a diameter of about tens of meters was formed. However, this is not over yet. Qin Feng looked at Humei and Daisy, who were still barely conscious. He said, "Be alert. The last blow." As he spoke, the mysterious ice dragon spear appeared in Qin Feng's hand. At the same time, he also controlled the bull demon clone to accumulate strength. The next moment, 4 attacks were released at the same time. Angry Thunder Spear, Ice Condensation, Frost Sword Slash, Mysterious Ice Dragon Break, All Jump and Chop. 4 attacks fell almost at the same time. This time, Qin Feng did not hold back, and even summoned Wu Yu to unleash the strongest attack. Suddenly, the huge sphere in front of him was first completely frozen by the power of frost and turned into an ice ball. Then, the lightning penetrated, the sword energy slashed horizontally, and the bull demon clone jumped up and slashed vertically. Bang! The sphere exploded, and the breath of this Abyss Lord finally dissipated completely at this moment. The erosion of the lazy aura gradually dissipated. Qin Feng also gradually returned to normal, looking at the large pieces of rubble scattered in front of him. Qin Feng was also a little scared in his heart. This Abyss Lord, to be honest, is not very strong. He lacks the ability to take the initiative to attack. He is just a pile of rotten meat. But it is definitely not easy to kill him. Either pull him out of the pit, or kill him instantly with super firepower. But these two conditions, no matter which one, are extremely difficult. Harsh. The latter, needless to say. Its level is high enough, and its vitality is so tenacious that Qin Feng estimates that at least the 9th level of strength is needed to wipe it out in a short period of time. The former is also extremely difficult. This guy's body is connected to the earth. In addition to its huge body, the weight is unknown. The most important thing is, pulling is not just pulling weight. It also has to fight against the energy in its body. It can be said, at a long distance, the difficulty of pulling it out is no less than the second method. Qin Feng also did it with all his strength because he possessed the magical skill of Tianyan of all things, to control gravity. As for close range, it is even more impossible. In the deep pit, the viscous liquid is not a real nutritional supplement, but is filled with strong negative power. For the Lord of the Abyss, it can recover from injuries. But if the creatures of all races enter it, there is a high probability that the negative power will quickly invade and eventually be completely assimilated. However, I understand why the attack of the Abyss Demon is so weak. This is the strange place Qin Feng had felt before. Although, those ordinary Abyss Demons are numerous. But the overall strength is not bad. Under the continuous attack, there is a threat, but it is not as terrible as mentioned in some documents. What? Break through the defense line in half an hour. What? The Lord's army will suffer extremely heavy losses. With this attack intensity, not to mention holding on for too long, if the full defense is underway, the Lords will cooperate and support each other. It's still possible to hold on for half a day. Now look, the reason is that the abyss demons in this area are of the lazy type. This thing, if you become a lord, the entire territory will indeed be affected. Otherwise, normally speaking, this abyss invasion should be a mixture of ordinary abyss demons mixed with elite level abyss demons, launching an attack together. Even the Lord will sit in the middle and attack some strong ones. It's not like just now. Even can still kill it back and forth. It seems that it's because of this thing. If it were, other types of abyss lords would have been targeted long ago. Quote. Qin Feng was almost certain of his guess. At the same time, he couldn't help but murmur. And just at this time, a slightly lazy voice sounded. Wu, you sleep so soundly. Hearing this voice, Qin Feng was speechless and said, then how about you take a nap? Or, just make a home here. Hearing the voice, Sha Yu opened her eyes, and then, after a moment of confusion, she finally reacted. Am I not fighting against the Lord of the Abyss? As he spoke, he sat up suddenly. Then, he frowned and murmured, no, I just fell asleep. Qin Feng was amused and said, what do you think? I slept soundly and even snored. Sha Yu glared, you are talking nonsense. I never snore. Ah, this is not the point of discussing this now. Where is the Lord of the Abyss? So, while I was sleeping, you have killed the Lord of the Abyss. Sha Yu looked confused. Qin Feng grinned, what else? I told you that you sleep like a pig. However, fortunately you also attacked before, so there should still be a reward. Sha Yu heard this and came back to his senses at this time, and hurried to investigate. After some investigation, a smile appeared on his face. Really, my points have increased by a full 50,000. Now the total points ranking has reached the second place. I also received a resource reward of 10,000. What about you? Qin Feng shrugged. I have only a little more than you. Let's not talk about the points, it's only more than 1 million, but there is no difference, I was already the first before. As for the resources, it was rewarded with 200,000. But you should not have heard the prompt sound just now. Now that the Lord of the Abyss has been killed, the sign mission has been completed. At present, there are about 8 minutes left before teleporting away. During this period, you'd better work hard, otherwise it will be bad if you are overtaken by the points. Hearing this, Sha Yu hurriedly said, ah, why didn't you say it earlier? Qin Feng did not continue to brush up points. Because, after the sign mission is over, the mission is also completed. Killing the Abyss Demon will not get any additional resources. There is only the accumulation of points, because the rewards for the points settlement have not yet been issued. However, in terms of points, Qin Feng is not worried that someone can surpass him at all. After all, Company Sha Yu followed the soy sauce and bombarded some skills on the periphery, and received a full 50,000 points reward. And he, as the killer, adding the previous damage, it is also higher. The points reward obtained is indeed more than 1 million. But this value is exactly 1.95 million. That is to say, at present, Qin Feng's total points have exceeded 2 million. Before that, he paid a rough attention to it. Killing ordinary abyss demons basically only gives 1 to 5 points. Elite and king level demons only give 10 to 100 points. In other words, others have to consider killing hundreds of thousands of abyss demons to reach this score. But this is obviously impossible. After all, even if the strength can crush, the physical strength and magic power cannot support it. By the way, after killing the Abyss Lord just now, it seems that something dropped. Following behind Sha Yu like a stroll, Qin Feng suddenly thought of this at this time. Immediately, he opened the package. Inside the package, a dark, heart-like object came into view. And its message also emerged. Abyss Demon Heart, Level 8, Description. 100,000 resources can be recycled, and a random B-level territory feature +1 is obtained. Looking at the emerging message, Qin Feng's eyes lit up slightly. Another 100,000 resources. Moreover, there is one more territory feature. Great profit. In the midst of surprise. At this time, the final welfare time is also over. The light instantly enveloped everyone. This time, the teleportation directly teleported the lords to the place where they came from. And there was no gathering first as before, as the teleportation was completed. At this time, the abyss crack was completely closed. Next, it will no longer be an easy task to connect this passage. Because next, if nothing unexpected happens, there will be a very long period of chaos in this abyss crack. Until the abyss demon heart is born again and a new lord appears, it is possible to connect this place again. However, that will be known for many years. The birth of the abyss demon heart is not so easy. And as many lords were teleported away, the prompt sound also resounded in everyone's ears. Ding, the sign mission is completely completed. Points are being settled. The ranking is still not announced. Therefore, the prompt sound received by each person is different. At this moment, the prompt Qin Feng received is: Ding, congratulations on your demon hunting points ranking 3rd. Congratulations on obtaining Demon Exorcist Treasure Box times 10. The prompt sound ends. At this time, Qin Feng also received the message sent by Sha Yu for the first time. I'm 2nd. 5 treasure boxes. Qin Feng replied. 10, just twice as many as you. Sha Yu. Humph, so what if there are more? I am a woman favored by the god of luck. Maybe the things opened are more than your 10 treasure boxes. Qin Feng. Oh, not the queen of doubting. Now it's lucky doubting. Sha Yu. Ah, don't call me doubting. I'm not short at all. Qin Feng. Okay, doubting. Sha Yu. You're dead. I'll tell you next time we meet. Qin Feng. I'm standing here for you to hit me. Can you hit my knees? Sha Yu. Qin Feng. Jump up and hit my knees. Inside the territory, Sha Yu bit the quilt. As if she thought he was Qin Feng. I want to bite him to death. You said I'll jump up and hit his knees. I'll jump up and hit the dog's head. Sha Yu muttered in her heart. Of course, she couldn't really be angry. After all, she knew clearly that this was just a joke. And the reason for this symptom was clearly too concerned about someone's opinion. Otherwise, if someone else said this, she wouldn't care at all. After all, she wasn't short at all. A height of nearly 1.6 meters is the normal height of southern women in reality. Compared to Qin Feng, she was just a head shorter. In reality, it even belongs to the best height ratio. And at the same time when Qin Feng and Sha Yu were chatting privately with each other. In the chat channel at this moment, messages were quickly refreshed. Baina. I am very curious, who is it that has such strength to kill the Abyss Lord? Below, there were messages one after another. There should be very few lords who can do this. And it should not appear in the middle area between us. Who would it be? The area on both sides. And while everyone was speculating, a message was sent. Eric. Well, I seem to know who it is. It seems that it is a lord of the human race. But the message was sent. Immediately, countless people questioned it. Human race. How is it possible? I don't deny the strength of the human race, but that is basically after the high level. Yes, the initial strength of the human race is not even as good as a medium-sized group. Quote. Seeing this, Eric was a little anxious and sent a message in a hurry. I saw it with my own eyes. They rushed into the demon wave of the abyss. And they seemed to be at ease. However, even after such an explanation, at this moment, no one believed it. Until Eric sent a message. Why did I lie to you? That lord is a man. He has 4 districts under his command, including himself. And he seems to be an ally of a female human lord. As soon as these words came out, a message was immediately released. Kalia, does the human you are talking about have a bull demon beast as a subordinate? Eric. Exactly. As soon as these words came out. For a moment, in the chat channel, it seemed as if was stuck for a short time. After a long while, someone sent a message. Is it that guy? Impossible. If it's true, then. At this moment, the messages in the chat channel are different from before. Before, everyone was skeptical and didn't believe it. But now, they don't dare to believe it and don't want to believe it. Especially, in a certain territory at this moment. A solemn look flashed in the eyes of Behemoth Lord Kalia. If it's true, it's no wonder that kid is so confident. I think it should have been upgraded to a level 6 territory. If it was before, I really need to stay out of the spotlight for a while. Quote. B. Kalia snorted coldly, and at this time, he directly chose to upgrade his own territory. Its development was not weak. It also plundered a lot of resources. The gap from the level 6 territory is not big. After killing a large number of abyss demons, it has accumulated enough resources. When he saw that his territory was covered by white light and entered the upgrade process, Kalia sent a message in the chat channel again. What does it matter whether it is true or not? Since he has provoked me, Kalia, he is destined to perish. Here, I still say what I said before, if anyone knows the information of that human boy. Quote. You can gain my friendship with Kalia. At Eric, do you know? Looking at Kalia suddenly clicking his name. In a certain territory of the Wood Spirit clan, Eric hesitated slightly at this time. He didn't know Qin Feng's message. But he knew Yu Xiaoyu's message. Because Yu Xiaoyu had given him temporary command before. In this case, some basic information was naturally revealed. Should I tell you? Eric fell into deep thought. Eric was in a dilemma. From the bottom of his heart, he actually didn't want to offend either side. This was in line with the character of the wood spirits. They were born from the wood element. The wood element is peaceful, so naturally, the tribes born from it will also have this characteristic. And he also knew clearly, the choice at this moment was very important. It was equivalent to standing in a team. He had no doubt about Kalia's combat power. The other party was the only two top race leaders in this area. This advantage was too great. At present, many lords have tacitly agreed that the final unifier of this area will be born in Baina or Kalia. Even many of the so-called alliances at present. The goal of their establishment was to achieve something. It was to have more bargaining chips when facing these two powerful lords. B. Qin Feng's strength. He witnessed it with his own eyes. It was also not weak. Even at this moment, Eric had guessed Qin Feng's identity. After all, at present, among the human lords, only Qin Feng, who won the first place in the first competition, has such strength. Of course, this is just speculation. However, in his opinion, this possibility is very high. Eric murmured in his heart, what choice should I make? Then, Qin Feng and Yu Xiaoyu, lords seem to be very strong. But the key is that according to Yu Xiaoyu, their alliance has only 2 members. And Kalia seems to have at least more than 20 lords in the alliance. In terms of power, Kalia will be stronger, right? If I sell information, I can definitely gain his favor and directly join his alliance. Eric analyzed for a while. But in the end, he sighed and opened the chat channel. Lord Kalia, I don't know much. No information was revealed. This also means that he lost an opportunity to gain Kalia's favor. I don't know if this is the right choice. He shook his head. After thinking for a while, Kalia opened the friend list and chose to add. I have to tell them about this anyway. Otherwise, it would be a waste of rejection. When Qin Feng got the news, he had already returned to the territory. Eric successfully added Yu Xiaoyu as a friend, and then Yu Xiaoyu sent the message to Qin Feng the next day. Open the chat interface. Looking at the message sent by Kalia, Qin Feng's eyebrows slightly raised. Then, he murmured, I almost forgot about this matter. In that case, this time, let's show off our strength a little bit. Qin Feng made a decision in his heart. Besides, it just happens that there are enough resource points now. If you do some operations, maybe you can double the resources. Besides, after choosing the cultivation development route, you will need a lot of resources. Qin Feng opened the trading channel at this time. After a search, he found the items he wanted. War agreement. Description. When someone starts a war against you, you can use this item. Effect. Make a war agreement. If the other party cannot meet the requirements, you cannot start a war. Note. You need to meet the agreement yourself. The effect of this item itself. It can be used to avoid some challenges. After using the war agreement. If the other party cannot meet the requirements of the challenge agreement, even a forced challenge cannot be launched. And after purchasing this item. At this time, Qin Feng quickly opened all the resource treasure chests in the package. After some operations, Qin Feng looked at his total resources, 835,410. It was close to 1 million. Among them, about 600,000 were obtained through treasure chests and killing abyss demons. Then he killed the Abyss Lord and obtained an additional 100,000 resources. In addition to recovering the Abyss Demon Heart, he obtained another 100,000 resources. At the same time, the territory also has an additional feature, outstanding people and beautiful scenery. It can increase the probability of recruiting high-quality personnel. After opening a number of resource treasure chests, Qin Feng then opened the Demon Exorcist treasure chest, one after another. Ding, congratulations on getting the Night Hunter Squad recruitment scroll S. Ding, congratulations on getting the White Robe Priest Squad recruitment scroll S. Ding, congratulations on getting the Bright Knight Squad recruitment scroll S. Ding, congratulations on getting the Holy Knight Squad recruitment scroll SSS. 10 treasure chests. 4 of them opened recruitment scrolls. And each recruitment scroll can recruit a soldier. The most important thing is, among these 4 recruitment scrolls, the first 3 are all king-level troops. The 4th one is a legendary troop. And the remaining 6 treasure chests open separately. Mysterious Fire SS. Yellow Spring Swamp Skill Book SS. Holy Judge Job Transfer Book SSS. Magic Guide Book Optional S. Frenzy Bloodthirst S. Taishuan Ice Spirit Body SSS. When the treasure chest was opened, Qin Feng couldn't suppress his smile at all. I was wondering if it was too early. Now there is no need to worry at all. Qin Feng grinned, and his heart was also muttering at this moment. 4 recruitment scrolls were used at the first time. In an instant, the territory had 40 more soldiers, and the lowest was the king level. Immediately, Qin Feng called Qin Dali. He directly used the Holy Judge job transfer book on him. The job transfer was completed. Qin Dali's attributes were also greatly improved at this moment. Qin Dali, level 53, legendary hero, talent, giant spirit body, occupation, Holy Judge, skills, Holy Judge Blade, Light of Judgment, Holy Duel, Holy Light Bodyguard, Holy Impact, Earth-Shattering Slash, Dragon Head Raising. Combat Power Rating, 72. In the territory, another unit with 8th level combat power was added. However, this is not over yet. Qin Feng opened the package at this time. He took out the magic book. This is a magic book with a selectable system. And Qin Feng, without a doubt, chose the Ice System. Magic Book Ice System. Description: Advanced Ice System magic can be developed at the barracks. Effect: Unlock the king-level soldier, Frost Mage. He strode towards the barracks. Technology upgrade. The original Frost Soldier was upgraded at this moment. Compared with the previous Frost Mage, Frost Mage has 2 more skills. They are Ice Tornado and Roar. Both of them are large-scale lethal skills, and they also have control effects. However, this is not over yet. Frenzy Bloodthirst. Description: The barracks can develop Frenzy Bloodthirst technology. Effect: The Berserker Soldier can be upgraded to Blood Demon Berserker. Blood Demon Berserker. Epic level troop. Not only is the bloodthirsty ability stronger, but also the strength, speed, defense and other attributes are comprehensively improved. As for the remaining items, Qin Feng chose to learn the Yellow Spring Swamp skill. However, there is no suitable candidate for the Mysterious Fire at the moment. And the last item, Taiyin Xuanti. You can transform your own physique into Taiyin Xuanti. Effect: After the transformation, you will obtain this special physique. This can be said to be the most precious thing opened in this treasure chest. It can be said that, once this item is used, you can directly raise the qualifications of an ordinary human to SSS level. This kind of thing, even if it is placed in the Central Realm, is priceless. After all, even the powerful lords in the Central Realm, there are still many who are still low-level bloodline qualifications. However, Qin Feng does not plan to use it himself. First, his own Samsara Eye will have the opportunity to advance to the Samsara Immortal Body later. Obviously, it is stronger than this Taiyin Xuanti. Second, this kind of extremely cold constitution will eventually have a subtle influence on people. And the aspects affected by the power of Taiyan are self-evident. Qin Feng does not want to lose his desire in certain aspects after fusing his constitution. Finally, he has 4 beauties under his command. It is even more impossible to choose to fuse this body. At present, in the territory, the more suitable person is Hu Mei, right? But it is not suitable. Qin Feng shook his head. Hu Mei's own bloodline power is not weak. It has reached the epic level, that is, S level. Moreover, the bloodline of the demon race has a chance to continue to advance as the cultivation level increases. After some thinking, finally, Qin Feng thought of a way to use the prop. That is, use it directly, condense a soulless body with it. Then, use it as his own heavenly Tao clone. Soon, a body similar to Qin Feng, but with blue hair, was generated. Insert the black stick. Instantly, this body was under control. It just so happens that this body is also of the ice type. You can use the mysterious ice dragon spear as its weapon. As for me, at this time, Qin Feng looked at the towering palace that had already been built. Then, he raised his hand. The next second, a golden long sword and a golden robe flew in the air. It was the human emperor sword and the human emperor robe. At the same time, Qin Feng also gained a new skill, human emperor pressure. The attributes of the human emperor sword and the human emperor robe. Qin Feng took a rough look. The human emperor sword is not much different from other SSS level weapons. For attack bonuses within level 10, it is basically around 100%. That is, with one strike, the power caused is almost doubled. The only difference is that the human emperor sword has no attribute restrictions. Any attack can get its amplification. Other SSS level weapons generally only have such amplification when using attacks with the same attribute or no attribute. The amplification effect is not so great when using other types of attacks. For example, if Qin Feng uses the mysterious ice dragon spear as a carrier and releases fire attribute skills, the strength will be increased by 100%. In addition to this, the human emperor sword also comes with a special skill. Grant death. This skill is very powerful, but also very weak. Because its effect is, slashing out the death sword chi will cause different damages according to the enemy's fear of you. In short, this is a killing skill. Or, it needs to be used with human emperor pressure or other mental shock skills. After all, the enemy will not be afraid for no reason. Either beat him to be afraid, or use other means to make him afraid. Of course, Qin Feng has not tried the specific effect. There is no test target now, so I can only put it aside for now. The human emperor robe can basically dissolve 70% to 80% of the power of attacks within level 10. In addition, it also comes with a skill, Royal Way Guardian. Its effect is also very simple, which is to generate a shield that can withstand 3 attacks within level 10. After reading the information of the 2 equipments, Qin Feng's eyes also looked at the skill, Human Emperor Pressure. Human Emperor Pressure, SSS level. Effect. Actively release pressure on single units and group units, which can cause pressure to burst out instantly, making them feel fear and make them feel the intention of the minister's eyes. Mental skills. It can be released on a single unit. It can also be released on a group. Is it a control skill? SSS level control skills should be strong. Qin Feng muttered to himself, preparing to verify it next. At this time, Qin Feng checked the package. There was nothing left. Then let's spend a little resources to recruit a wave of soldiers. Qin Feng muttered. At this time, he went to the barracks. Blood Devil Berserker, 1500 resources. Frost Mage, 600 resources. These are the 2 highest grade soldiers that can be recruited at present. Thinking. Finally, Blood Devil Berserker times 100. Adding the number of berserkers before, the number of this soldier has reached 200. And Frost Mage, this soldier needs to have water qualifications as a prerequisite for recruitment. Fortunately, under the previous 2 batches of thousands of people recruited, there are quite a few qualified personnel. Finally, after recruiting all of them, the number reached 99 people. After some operations, resources consumed about 200,000. At this time, Qin Feng felt that the preparations were sufficient. After thinking about it, sent a message to Sha Yu. Qin Feng, are you ready? Sha Yu, hey, What are you preparing for? Qin Feng, didn't you ask me to check the chat channel? I saw that Kalia was barking and calling for help. Sha Yu, then what? Qin Feng, what then? We have to fight him. I'm ready to declare war on him. Sha Yu, think it over. Kalia is very strong. Besides, he dared to shout in this situation. It is estimated that the territory has probably been upgraded to level 6. Your territory has been upgraded to level 7. Qin Feng, how can it be so fast? And I still choose the path of cultivation development. Quote, to upgrade the territory to level 7, plus upgrading infrastructure and so on, it is estimated that at least 2 million total resources are needed. Quote, Sha Yu, you actually chose cultivation. Qin Feng, what about you? Sha Yu, I will probably choose technology. I still prefer the modern architectural style system, which is also very practical. The two of them suddenly started chatting. Intel. After a long while, Sha Yu suddenly reacted and hurriedly said, it's not right. You want to start a war, why tell me? You won't. No, Qin Feng's reply came immediately, it seems you guessed it. I'm going to take the initiative to challenge the alliance. The message was sent. Sha Yu, who was eating melon in his own territory, almost choked. After a few quick coughs, he didn't care about eating the melon anymore. He threw the remaining melon in front of a big yellow dog and quickly replied, are you crazy? Or you didn't pay attention to the chat channel? Qin Feng's reply, I really didn't pay much attention. Sha Yu, Kalia Alliance. There are at least 15 lords in his alliance. Moreover, those who can join his alliance are definitely not weak lords, at least level 5. During this period, Kalia also conquered a lot of territories, and there are many servant lords and subordinate lords under his command. You want to launch an alliance challenge? Don't you know how many people are in our alliance? Just the two of us. 2 people do you know? Even if I am now a level 6 territory, I can't be the opponent. CCDG, what's more, I am still level 5. Qin Feng listened to a series of ding 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 messages and emails, and felt a headache. He quickly replied, don't worry. Sha Yu, how can I not be anxious? I can't just watch you die. The key is that you actually want to take this queen with you to die. Is it because you know that you can't pursue it in reality, so you plan to be desperate couples? Qin Feng was speechless. Can you stop being so narcissistic? Sha Yu, what do you mean? To deal with Kalia, just deal with Qingshang directly. I am still very optimistic about your strength. Qin Feng quickly replied, let me ask you, can Kalia have more than 500,000 resources? Sha Yu, how is that possible? 500,000 resources are not so easy to accumulate. Doesn't he spend resources to upgrade the territory? At this stage, unless he encounters some specific large-scale tasks, just like you before, maybe he can have more than 500,000 resources now. Quote. Could it be? Qin Feng replied, yes, you guessed right. The reason why I plan to take the initiative to initiate the alliance war. I want to sign a bet agreement. And the bet is 600,000 resources. Of course, you can also increase the bet. They can't afford so much, but the entire alliance should be able to get it together. If they win, the resources will double. Sha Yu, what if they lose? Wouldn't it be that both the people and the resources are gone? Qin Feng's reply was very decisive, it's impossible to lose. Of course, if you don't trust me, you can choose to withdraw from the alliance now. I can do them alone. In the territory, Sha Yu looked at Qin Feng's reply. The whole person paced back and forth. Obviously, he was fighting a battle between heaven and man. But in the end, she gritted her teeth and replied, I'll go crazy with you for once. If you fail, I'll haunt you even if I become a ghost. But wait for me for a moment, I'll open the treasure chest first to see if I can increase my combat power. On the other side, looking at Sha Yu's reply, Qin Feng smiled, and then took the initiative to buy a challenge scroll from the trading channel. Alliance War Scroll. War can be launched against a designated alliance. Note: Alliance War will enter a special war zone, and the 2 alliances in the battle must choose at least one territory as the wartime territory of both parties. Note: the war ends when the enemy's main territory is broken or the enemy chooses to surrender. Note: the surrendering party must reduce its personnel by at least 50%. Note: the losing party will pay war reparations, and the fixed amount of reparations is 100,000 resource workers. Note: the war agreement can be used to reset the war reparations. This war scroll. The price is not expensive. Only 30,000 resources. After all, few people would launch such an alliance war. The cost is too high and there are too many uncertainties. Especially in the early stage. Most of the lords' territories are used to develop soldiers, and rarely build defensive buildings. In the early stage, this kind of alliance war, if you are not careful, it is easy to be stolen by an elite. In the later stage, this situation will be relatively rare. At that time, most territories are relatively complete. Therefore, in the early stage, it is not necessary to launch an alliance war unless the contradiction is irreconcilable. Purchased items. Qin Feng waited for a while. Received Sha Yu's reply. I'm ready here. Lucky, the treasure chest opened 2 epic military teams. I also drew 2 SS level items. The combat power has increased a lot. Qin Feng replied. Actually, this is not too important. Because, I didn't consider your combat capability in this aspect at all. Sha Yu. Ah, you look down on me, the queen. Qin Feng. I can't say I look down on you, I can only say that you will understand when you meet me. Okay, I'll go to the chat channel to declare war first. In the chat channel, still discussing the mystery of the sign mission. Kalia did not continue to speak in the chat channel at this moment. However, after Qin Feng flipped up, he still saw the harsh words of the other party. Cowardly human race, didn't you say such nonsense during the sign mission before? A waste. I am still seeking his information here. I want to gain the friendship of my Kalia. This is a great opportunity. Looking at these messages, Qin Feng couldn't help laughing. He was too lazy to pay attention to him, and he was still breathing. You are looking for death yourself. Muttering. At this time, Qin Feng finally spoke in the chat channel. At Kalia, Behemoth come out. As Qin Feng pointed out the name. Soon, Kalia replied, Qin Feng, the human race that ranked first in the resource competition. How come you know the news about that human kid? Qin Feng did not hide it. I know. Kalia also replied immediately, tell it out. I, Kalia, can promise to let you join my alliance. How about it? This is a great opportunity. Then, Qin Feng's reply appeared instantly. That person is your father, that is, me. As soon as this message came out, in an instant, the lords who were watching the show were all stunned. What did I see? Brother is so brave. What does this mean? Are we completely at odds? However, at this time, another message was sent out. Sha Yu. Yes, and your mother, that is, me. Qin Feng. Yes, we are husband and wife. Sha Yu. Bah, what husband and wife? Qin Feng. I am the father, you are the mother, what else is that if not husband and wife? The two glanced and spoke. At this time, Kalia finally replied, okay. Very good, you two have completely pissed me off. Qin Feng sneered and replied directly, so what if I piss you off? Aren't you always looking for me? Don't you just want to start a war? Don't use that bullshit dual war order. Your father, I will directly declare war on your alliance. As soon as the words fell, Qin Feng also used the alliance war order directly at this time. At the same time, the war agreement was also added. The next moment, an announcement was resounding. Ding! Qin Feng Alliance launched a war challenge to the Overlord Alliance, and an additional war agreement was added. The war agreement is as follows. The losing party will pay an additional compensation of 500,000 resources. Do you accept it? The war at the alliance level. The news triggered was regional. All the lords, they were able to receive the news directly. At the same time, they could see the personnel composition of the alliances on both sides. Then, everyone was dumbfounded again. Qinfeng Alliance, just like its name, is extremely perfunctory. It doesn't even have a name. The composition of the personnel inside is even simpler. Alliance Leader, Qin Feng. Subordinate Lord, Zhao Tian. Subordinate Lord, Huo Mu, Mana, Vashi. Alliance Member, Sha Yu. There are no subordinate lords or subordinate lords. That is to say, there are only 6 lords on this side. Moreover, 4 of them are subordinate lords. Such lords are almost impossible to have any combat power. On the contrary, Overlord Alliance. Alliance Leader, Kalia. Alliance Members. Code, Mamba, Crazy Lion, Black Wolf. In total, 16 members. In addition, under Kalia's command, there are a total of 2 subordinates and 4 submissive lords. Among the other members, there are also subordinate lords. In total, the number of lords on the side of the Overlord Alliance has reached 37. The gap has reached more than 6 times. The number of main battle lords is nearly 9 times the difference. In an instant, everyone was stunned. In the territory of Kalia, Kalia's eyes flashed with hesitation. After all, although he is a behemoth, he gives people a feeling of madness and dementia. But that is in the battle state. At this moment, before the battle, he still maintains the due rationality. Looking at Qin Feng, he dared to take the initiative to initiate the alliance war. Naturally, he couldn't help thinking in his heart, "ITB, why do you dare to do so? Could it be that the territory has been upgraded to level 7? Kalia thought to himself. And the final conclusion is, it seems that there is such a possibility. Kalia combined the current information. If the previous sign mode, the other party killed the Abyss Lord, then 2 pieces of information can be almost confirmed. The first, the other party must have been a level 6 Lord at that time. The second, the other party has obtained a large wave of resources again. But soon, Kalia shook his head again, even if it is a level 7 Lord. It is impossible to win. After all, he has just been upgraded to level 7 at most. The number of soldiers under his command will definitely not be too many. Moreover, the other party has also taken out 500,000 resources as a bet, and the resources that can be mobilized are naturally less. Do you think that the level 7 territory will definitely win by relying on the level suppression? Kalia sneered at this time. If I fight alone, I may not be able to win. But, actually dare to directly launch an alliance war. He is still very confident in the combat power of the alliance. He would not allow a lord who was too weak to join the alliance. Now, the remaining 16 people in the entire alliance. Among them, 3 also completed the territory upgrade and reached level 6 through this sign event. The rest, although they are level 5 lords, have deep foundations and are not the kind that have just been upgraded. Most members have at least hundreds of soldiers. When the number of soldiers is small, the suppression of high-level territories on low-level territories is in the high-end combat power. Do you want to win by relying on high-end combat power? Unfortunately, at this time, Kalia's claws popped out, full of confidence. He is confident, with his own combat power, he can still win even when facing a hero unit 1 level higher. Immediately, he did not hesitate. Send a message in the chat channel. Since you are looking for death, I will fulfill your wish. As the message was sent, immediately afterwards, Zhu Li began to collect funds for the war agreement. Members chatted privately one by one. Soon, they gathered 500,000 gambling resources. At the same time, they accepted the alliance war. At the same time, a reminder sounded again. Ding, the alliance war will start in 30 minutes. A temporary alliance channel is now established. Members of each alliance can talk in it. This alliance war will be held in the Sky Realm. All lords participating in the war will be teleported there. Please gather troops and determine the units participating in this war. Under the reminder sound, the entire chat channel was also in an uproar at this moment. Oh my god, are we really going to fight? Hiss, this wave of battle will have a huge impact. I don't know who will win. My choice in my heart is the Kalia, Overlord Alliance, but the Qin Feng, who dared to launch this challenge, must have his trump card, right? 0. From the perspective of the gambling resources, maybe what Eric said before is true, the Abyss Lord was really killed by Qin Feng. At least in terms of high-end combat power, Qin Feng's side must be strong. But the difference in numbers is too great. Everyone discussed and speculated. And at this moment, in the temporarily developed alliance channel, messages are also being sent one after another. Among them, the lords under Qin Feng are the most confused at this moment. Huomyu, Lord, what are you doing? Mana, this is really amazing news. Val, we can only follow the Lord's decision. Zhao Tian. Brother, just tell me, how sure are you? Looking at everyone's speeches, Qin Feng was too lazy to explain, and said directly, don't worry, do what you should do, I don't intend to warn you. Your combat power is not enough to fill the gaps in your teeth. Looking at Qin Feng's speech, the subordinate lords were slightly surprised. Don't you want us to be cannon fodder? Qin Feng replied, no. You should stay, dig well, and get more resources for me. Don't talk nonsense here if you have nothing to do. Seeing this, the subordinate lords naturally stopped asking. Even, they themselves are ready to become cannon fodder. And most of the lord wars are like this. Let the subordinate lords consume each other at the beginning. Retain the elite combat power. Now this result is a big surprise. It was Sha Yu. At this time, he spoke. What about me, what about me? Qin Feng replied. It depends on you, you can bring as many people as you want. Okay, I will choose the main territory first. Quote, you don't have to choose your territory, just rely on my territory. Seeing this, Sha Yu did not refuse. Okay. Soon. As time passed, every second passed. Accompanied by the space transmission, Qin Feng's territory was instantly moved to the sky realm. And in the next moment, a series of white lights appeared. Sha Yu's figure also appeared in Qin Feng's territory. Also teleported, there were about 200 soldiers. Bring so many people. Qin Feng was slightly surprised. Sha Yu did not reply at this time. Instead, she stared at the buildings in Qin Feng's territory in amazement. Her red lips opened and her eyes widened. This is. Sha Yu was completely dumbfounded. She stammered and could not say a complete sentence. The magnificent palace, the 100-meter-high star tower, the Iron Mountain sect gate. Each building was extremely extraordinary at first glance. At the same time, she also received a prompt at the first time. Life breath blessing, your recovery speed increased by 10 times. This is the effect of the fountain of life. Now the fountain of life, the breath of which covers the entire territory, has already increased with the improvement of the territory. Overall, the mysterious orchard seems to be a little bland. But in fact, if you look closely, is to be able to feel the mysterious energy emanating from it. Sha Yu was completely confused at this time, and murmured, I thought I was already a daughter of heaven, blessed by luck. I didn't expect. During the conversation, Sha Yu blinked her eyes and said delicately, Qin Feng. Qin Feng looked disgusted. Don't pinch, talk nicely. Sha Yu pouted. I'm just acting like a spoiled child. Can you tell me where these buildings came from? Qin Feng said lightly. I can't learn it even if I tell you. Don't even think about it. Sha Yu pouted. Qin Feng said. Besides, aren't we in an alliance state now? As long as the alliance doesn't collapse, I'm strong, which is also good for you. Sha Yu nodded when she heard this. He is indeed. Woo, then I have to hold my thigh tightly now. Qin Feng felt a little funny and teased. Aren't you going to become the queen? This doesn't sound like a queen saying it. Quote, Sha Yu sighed softly. Queen, that is the goal, the dream. I am not really a middle school student. Say it out to motivate myself. Unlike you, you actually do it for real. These buildings are at least above dollar level. Qin Feng grinned. Almost. Sha Yu looked envious. Fortunately, it is an ally. Who would dare to believe your level of development? I didn't have much confidence at first, but now I am full of confidence. By the way, Qin Feng, where are the soldiers under your command? At this time, Qin Feng pointed to the city wall in the distance and said, they have already gone to the front line of defense. From a distance, looking in the direction of Qin Feng's finger, Sha Yu took a breath again. Oh my god, your territory has even built a city wall. Isn't this something that should be considered by the 9th and 10th levels? Where do you get so many resources? Qin Feng didn't explain, but just smiled. Anyway, there are them. Let's go directly over and take a look at what kind of formation those guys are in. As they approached, Sha Yu's eyes widened again. She suddenly realized that she seemed like a bumpkin. She whispered, isn't this gap too big? I always thought that my development was already among the best. Now that I compare, therefore, Sha Yu sighed from the bottom of her heart. Because, the city wall in front of us looked nothing from a distance. But as we got closer, The walls were all 20 to 30 meters high. And the width was amazing, even cavalry could pass on top. For a city wall of this size, it goes without saying that its defensive strength is absolutely amazing. Qin Feng said at this time, "Let's go up to the city wall." As he spoke, the two walked all the way to the top of the city wall. And along the way, Sha Yu was completely in the posture of entering the Grand View Garden, and her exclamation never stopped. Until, when they arrived at the top of the city wall, Sha Yu exclaimed again, "Wow, this is Blood Demon War. Also, are these all ice magicians? No, they are magicians. So strong. Hiss, this is a knight, and it seems to be a high-level soldier." Sha Yu exclaimed again and again. And Qin Feng, at this time, looked into the distance. The first thing that caught his eye was 3 roads. Between the roads and outside, there was endless void. The Sky Realm. To put it simply, it is an area created by the stars outside the endless world specifically for alliance wars. It varies in size, has no resources, and no creatures exist. According to the size of the alliance that launched the war, the endless world will allocate a suitable sky realm as a battlefield. Here, the two sides only have 3 roads to attack each other. And the war Qin Feng launched at this moment, the highest level of both sides is only level 6 territory. Therefore, the allocated sky realm is not too big. The overall length and width are only tens of kilometers. There are only more than 100 kaichen on the 3 connecting roads. However, it is enough to lay troops and fight. After taking a general look at the environmental conditions. At this time, Qin Feng continued to look into the distance. From a distance, you can also see that there is a camp there. It is too far away to see the situation of the other party. But you can vaguely see that there are fortifications. However, this is not surprising. Although there are only a few people who invest resources in fortifications at this stage. But it does not mean that there are none. Among the lords, there are also those who are defensive. Or they just dropped high-level defensive buildings, and it is not appropriate not to build them. The total number of the other side is so large. After all, there may be such a type of lord. At this time, Sha Yu has finished sighing one after another. He also came to the edge of the city wall, and then, lightly jumped, stood on the edge of the city wall, crossed his hands on his chest, and analyzed seriously, "With our defensive ability it is not impossible to fight. As long as we divide the troops in 3 places, it is enough to complete the defense." "No wonder you are so confident." Qin Feng tilted his head and said slowly at this time, "Defense? Why defend? I am the initiator of the war. How can I hide in the city?" Sha Yu was stunned. "Ah. Take the initiative to attack. This is not appropriate, right?" However, at this time, a prompt sound suddenly rang out. "Ding, preparation time is over. Start the war." As the prompt sound rang out, at this moment, all 3 roads were unblocked. Qin Feng's eyes were sharp. At this moment, he suddenly said, "Open the city gate. Prepare to attack." Qin Feng's words. The gate of the eternal wall opened instantly. Following Qin Feng's command, all the soldiers went downstairs directly from the passage above the wall. All personnel gathered in the middle passage. The other 2 passages did not choose to send soldiers. Soon, the entire middle passage, all the soldiers under Qin Feng's command came out. First, there were 200 blood demons. At the same time, Qin Feng's words rang out. "Qin Dali, you will lead the blood demons." Below, Qin Dali stood straight, his tall and mighty body, after being transferred to the holy judge, exuded a wisp of sacred breath. Facing Qin Feng's appointment, Qin Dali immediately took a step forward, turned around, and faced Qin Feng. "Lord, Qin Dali accepts the order." Qin Feng nodded slightly. He spoke again. "Holy Knight Squad. Light Knight Squad," in the continuous voice of words. Below, the 2 knight squads responded in unison. "Lord, we are all here." Qin Feng nodded slightly and issued another order. "I will not appoint a general commander for your 2 squads. Your mission is to cooperate with the blood demon to fight wildly in advance. But you don't have to attack from the front, you can also go around the flank and go around the back. Do you understand?" Below, the voices rang out in unison. "Understood." While Qin Feng's order was issued, on the side, Sha Yu was shocked again. "God, the Holy Knight King. Legendary arms, my God." However, the shock was far from over. Qin Feng's voice rang again. Daisy, the Mage Brigade will be under your command, responsible for the rear firepower coverage and suppression. While speaking, Daisy looked up and said solemnly, Daisy obeys. Then, Qin Feng spoke again. Star Squad, step out. Below, a group of star soldiers, all shining with brilliant starlight, stepped out one after another, looking back, with solemn and respectful eyes. You, mages, join the Mage Brigade. Guards, join the Magic Play Crazy Battle Brigade. Priests, join the White Robe Priest team, located in the back, to provide auxiliary treatment. Yes, in a loud shout, a group of star soldiers responded. Sha Yu was numb again. Although, she did not recognize these arms. But, the power of the surrounding brilliant starlight and its momentum are enough to show that it is absolutely extraordinary. At least, it is also an epic level arm. Sha Yu murmured to herself, her eyes were full of amazement. At this time, Qin Feng's selection of generals was basically over. He then said, the remaining soldiers will stay in the city. At the same time, my Bull Demon clone, Heavenly Dao clone, and Beast King clone will also fight together, and will be stationed in the front, middle and rear armies. Next, the entire army. Qin Feng was planning to give the order directly. On the side, Sha Yu, who had already been shocked, finally came to his senses. Me, what about me? Qin Feng looked back at Sha Yu, and after thinking for a while, he said, if you want, you can also send a team to attack. But I don't really recommend you to attack. Sha Yu was stunned. Why? Qin Feng then slowly said, war is cruel. To be honest, the soldiers under your command are also elite. But it is estimated that there will be a lot of casualties. Sha Yu heard this, and at this time, he said seriously, but we are allies. You can't just do it alone. Besides, you are not afraid of casualties, so I am not afraid either. Qin Feng heard this, and his expression was slightly strange at this time. Loss of personnel. It is impossible to lose personnel. Let alone the quality of the troops under his command. Starting from the king, even the giant tree man, Qin Feng is too lazy to send him to the battlefield. Elite light armored cavalry is not qualified. At the same time, as the assault pioneer, the Blood Demon Mad War has amazing toughness, and the blood-colored heavy armor has the ability to absorb damage. In addition, the Frost Mage in the rear has powerful control and fire support. In the last team, the division has a strong healing capacity, and the Star Priest is even more versatile, which can not only apply healing but also add buff. The entire army formation itself is relatively complete. Of course, this is not the key. After all, the opponent's Kalia, Qin Feng believes that the rank of the troops under his command must be not low. In addition, the opponent has an advantage in numbers. If that is the case, the final result of the battle will only be extremely tragic. However, the reason why Qin Feng dared to directly challenge the opponent's alliance. The key is that there is an extra trump card at this moment. That is, the Human Emperor Palace, with the Human Emperor Blessing. Under the blessing, the combat power of the entire army is increased by 1 level. The lowest is the 7th level arms of the king level. What kind of concept is this? If we take the opponent's main arms, the elite level, as an example. A king level arm can fight against 2 or 3 people at the same time before it falls into a disadvantage. An epic level arm can fight against 6 or 7 elite arms of the same level at the same time. Then, after adding the level difference of 1 level, the king level arm alone can deal with more than 10 people at the same time. This is still in the case of close combat, but Qin Feng's king arm is the Frost Mage, which is long range. Under normal circumstances, it is impossible to be rushed in front of him. In this case, the attack of the 7th level Frost Mage is even more unbearable for the 6th level arm. As for the front row, the Blood Demon is fighting wildly, 200 in number. If the opponent does not have more than 3,000 to 5,000, it is impossible to pose a threat to the Blood Demon Berserkers. What's more, Qin Feng also has a Knight Squad, which is legendary, under the blessing. Legendary 7th level troops. There is only one way to threaten the 6th level elite. Send to die. Keep sending to die to consume its physical strength. Simply put, it is impossible to pose a threat at all. Not to mention, there are also Star Guards with stronger defense. Qin Feng estimated that it would be difficult to die if thrown into the enemy's crowd. If the priest is added for treatment, even the opponent's behemoth lord should not pose a big threat to it. In this case, Qin Feng roughly calculated in his mind. If the opponent wants to defeat him, not counting the suppression of high-end combat power. In terms of the confrontation of troops alone, elite level, at least tens of thousands. King level, at least more than 10,000. If it is all epic level troops, only 5,000 are needed. If it is all legendary level troops, only 1,000 are needed. But the key is, can the other side have so many soldiers? Obviously not. So, it is impossible to reduce the number of soldiers. At most, there will be some wounded soldiers. However, Sha Yu has made a request. Finally, Qin Feng said, in that case, you can take your people and follow my Heavenly Dao clone as mobile support. Sha Yu did not refuse this time, thinking in his heart, as a support team, it can also play an effective role. And so far, everything is finally ready. All troops, attack. As soon as the words fell, the Blood Demon Berserker squad took the lead and advanced forward. In the back, the various military formations followed closely at a distance of about 50 meters. At the other end, Kalia also completed the selection of generals and assigned tasks. This approach is naturally not in vain. It has a certain improvement in morale. At the same time, clarifying the tasks and assigning the teams can also more effectively exert combat power. Otherwise, it will be chaotic, like a pile of loose sand. However, after the selection of generals was completed here, Kalia was preparing to order the attack. Looking forward, but he showed a look of surprise. What is he doing? Take the initiative to attack. Kalia couldn't believe it. After all, in his opinion, he had a huge advantage and should have attacked the first craftsman just now. Even just now, he was still thinking in his heart that the other party actually had such a tall city wall. No wonder he dared to speak so arrogantly and provoke himself. But he didn't expect that the development of things was unexpected. The other party did not plan to rely on the city wall for defense, but attacked. After a period of confusion, soon, Kalia showed a ferocious smile. Originally, I was thinking about attacking the city, which would cause a lot of losses. In the end, there is a road to heaven, but you don't take it. While muttering to himself, Kalia also discovered at this time that Qin Feng only deployed troops in the middle area. Seeing this scene, Kalia sneered even more. Then, he directly ordered, Black Wolf, you take your tribe and attack through the right wing channel. Mamba, you led your tribe to the left channel. The rest of you, follow me to charge through the middle channel. Let's see who can kill the other first. While speaking, there were waves of roars and cries. And then, thousands of soldiers from various tribes, led by Kalia, launched an attack. War channel, length of tens of kilometers. This distance seems to be very far. But now, many lords are already above level 5. Level 5 troops, even if they are moving in a large-scale military formation, are not slow. Therefore, not long after, the two sides were in close combat. But the battle did not break out immediately. Instead, they formed a stalemate at a distance of tens of meters. They were observing each other's military strength. Qin Feng's bull demon clone was in the front row and saw clearly. The other side was a coalition after all. The troops were relatively complicated. However, the main ones were the orcs. Among them, including the Wolf Knight, Headhunter, and Tauren Warrior that Qin Feng had fought against before. In addition, there were Black Panther Commandos, Bear Swordmen, Lion Guards, Tiger Guards, etc. And in the observation, the other side had the most orc lords. However, this is not surprising. Behemoth belongs to the branch of orcs. Naturally, the allies recruited will be more inclined to orcs. In addition, Qin Feng also saw some Beast Tribe lords. The Beast Tribe and the Orc Tribe belong to the same large branch tribe. However, the difference is, the Beast Tribe, also known as the Magic Beast Tribe, is better in the form of a human body. The Orc Tribe is mainly in human form. Both have the origin of beasts, come from the same source, and believe in the beast god. Therefore, they have a close relationship. The rest are some lords similar to humans and birds. In general, the number of the opponent's soldiers exceeded 3,000. However, as Qin Feng expected, they were mainly elites, with only a small number of kings. As for the higher epic level, there were basically none. There were actually a few legendary ones, but they did not exceed 20, and they were basically the tribe of Lord Behemoth. It fits the development direction of its elite route. And similarly, Kalia was also observing the deployment of Qin Feng's troops. At first glance, he was slightly shocked. After all, although Qin Feng's people seemed to have fewer people, but the quality was ridiculously high. However, after using the detection technique, Kalia raised his mouth, revealing sharp fangs. Actually, it's only 6th level. I was so worried before. With a grim look, he no longer hesitated. Attack. With a loud shout, beside him, the soldiers surged like a tide. The wolf cavalry took the lead in charging, followed by other types of soldiers. Facing the opponent's charge, Qin Feng's eyes were calm at this time, and he also issued an order. Magic Brigade. Magic ready. In the back, a group of frost magicians began to chant. The next moment, frost suddenly appeared all over the sky. At the same time, several frost tornadoes swept forward in front. Don't be afraid. The damage of ice magic is not too high. Kalia's voice resounded, encouraging his soldiers who were charging. However, the next second, he was completely stunned. Because, watching his soldiers rushing towards the frost storm. But as expected, they rushed out with frost. Instead, when the storm passed, only hundreds of statues were left, frozen in place, and lifeless. How is it possible? Kalia was shocked, his eyes full of disbelief. This was completely inconsistent with his expectations. Because the orcs, as a group, are born with hair and strong physique. For magic, they have a certain resistance. Except for fire magic, which can ignite hair and pose a greater threat. Ice magic can be said to be the least threatening to orcs. The vanguard that just attacked was also specially selected elites, at the 6th level. Under the same level, it stands to reason that they can easily withstand a round of ice magic attacks. It's hard to understand, but the battlefield did not give him much time to think. Immediately, he could only shout, "Attack!" The magician's attack cannot be uninterrupted. This is the truth. Magicians are indeed battlefield turrets, especially when high-level magicians reach a certain scale. They can provide coverage and destruction without interruption. In the absence of a super strong person to break through, it can be said to be unsolvable, and almost no matter how many soldiers there are, they cannot break through the siege. But there are two prerequisites. One is that it is high enough, at least it must be able to release magic in a larger range. The other is that the scale is sufficient, so as to ensure the release of covering skills. Without meeting these two conditions, a small number of magicians would not be as helpful to the war as imagined. After all, after releasing high-level magic, it is necessary to adjust the breath to calm the violent elemental fluctuations. The vacuum period during this period is its weakness. Once the melee forces of both sides clash together, the role of the mage will be greatly reduced. After all, although the Battle of the Lords of all races has a rather strange thing like the data panel, it is not a game after all. There is no so-called friendly injury protection mechanism. In close combat, unless you ignore your own members, the role of the city will be greatly reduced. And obviously, the number of the Mage Brigade on Qin Feng's side has not yet reached a large-scale organization. Taking advantage of the opponent's charge is indeed the best choice. And, at this time, Kalia spoke again. Shaman, release the war encouragement. Under the continuous instructions, a shaman began to dance a special dance, accompanied by the sound of drums. Hundreds of soldiers charging in front all had a flash of fanaticism in their eyes. War encouragement. It can improve the morale of the soldiers under his command. At the same time, the unique rhythm of the drums can stimulate the blood and chi of the orcs, making them more active and then improve their combat effectiveness. Charge! Charge again! The orcs who were inspired by the war, all had red eyes and shouted. However, it was at this time. Above the sky, meteors began to fall. Falling stars. It was the few star mages in the back who finally released magic at this moment. Although the number of star mages is very small. But each of these star mages is legendary. And, with the bonus of the blessing of the Emperor, reached the 7th level, a star mage can release a skill that can condense hundreds of falling stars. The power is even greater than the previous frost storm. Boom! Boom! Meteors fell one by one. While smashing the previous ice sculptures, they also killed the subsequent enemy troops. In a short moment, hundreds of corpses appeared on the spot. Before getting close, more than 1,000 units were killed. This scene also made Kalia's eyes tear up. And this is also the disadvantage of the orcs. Their military units are better at close-range impact combat. Although there are long-range units, the range is average, far less than the huge coverage of magic. This is why the orcs, a large branch, are in the central world domain, at most a medium-sized force. That's because they are not comprehensive enough. In the back, Sha Yu was originally nervous. At this moment, she was also relieved. At first, she looked at the dense crowd of people from the other side and was very worried. At this moment, but she could only murmur, "Good, so powerful." However, soon, she looked at the passages on the other two sides and said, "But, do we really not need to care about the enemies in the other two places? Or, should I go back to defend? It seems that I am really not needed here." Qin Feng heard this, and at this time, he raised his eyebrows, and then grinned, Don't worry about it. Those guys will only die faster. And they can't even break the city wall. In fact, at this moment, Ma Li Jiao Lia also saw the assaulting teams on both sides. At this time, he gradually calmed down. He secretly said in his heart, "Fortunately, I have divided two troops. This human guy is really difficult to deal with." He thought in his heart. He strode forward and laughed, "Human. I admit that your strength is stronger than I thought. But you are desperate and put most of your troops into the central battlefield. What about the other two passages? With so many troops here, I guess your territory must be very empty. Next, I don't even need to charge. I just need to wait for your other two passages to be breached." Kalia spoke loudly with a bright smile. He was deliberately provoking Qin Feng. The intention was also very simple. If Qin Feng was in chaos because of this, he could chase him from behind and win the battle. However, what he didn't expect was, Qin Feng controlled the bull demon clone at this time and said in an extremely calm tone, "You are right. There are probably less than 100 guards in my territory. But, I don't expect it. When the time comes, I hope you won't be anxious." Kalia frowned when he heard this, but soon sneered again, pretentious. The two sides are not fighting. Qin Feng's side. The reason is very simple. His formation is now like an iron barrel. The blood demons in the front row are fighting wildly. If they are not broken, the magic professions in the back will not be threatened. On the contrary, if he takes the initiative to attack, it will be a bad thing if the formation is messed up. After all, the opponent's main combat force is not weak. In particular, the biggest advantage of the opponent's alliance, in addition to the number of troops. Another point is, hero units. 16 lords, more than 32 hero units. And each lord also has combat power. This is a force that cannot be underestimated. After all, the magic profession, even if it is the 6th or 7th level, is essentially relatively fragile. When Daisy fought against the bull demon beast, she was severely injured by a single blow. These hero units of the opponent still have a certain threat. According to Qin Feng's estimation, most of the enemy's hero units should have the 7th level combat power, and Kalia, the behemoth lord, should have the 8th level strength. They can fight against Daisy or his own heavenly Dao clone. After all, the blessing of the human emperor is only effective for the soldiers under his command. The hero units and lords will not be improved. In terms of high-end combat power, his side may be at most 50 to 50 with the enemy. If he attacks in the chaos, there is a real possibility of casualties. Even if he wants to attack, it is better to advance layer by layer. Moreover, this is a good thing in itself. Just now, under the 2 rounds of spell bombardment, the magicians are adjusting their breath. The opponent is not in a hurry to attack, so why not? Of course, the real biggest reason is that Qin Feng is really not in a hurry. He is very curious. When the opponent rushes to the bottom of the city wall, what will be the reaction after seeing the towering city wall that is more than 30 meters high and 15 meters wide? After all, the other side now only knows that they are protected by the city wall. But they are too far away to see clearly. As for Kalia, it is because of the 2 consecutive attacks. I can't say I am afraid. But I am really afraid. In this case, He is also sure that the personnel he sent to the passages on both sides can achieve results. Naturally, he did not continue to attack. This led to. At this moment, the two sides were confronting each other. But their eyes were all looking at the passages on both sides. Sha Yu also seemed very nervous. Is it really okay? Qin Feng said at this time. You just stayed on the city wall before. Do you think the other party has any ability to break through the city wall? Sha Yu was stunned, and then said, it seems so. Qin Feng said again at this time, and, I can tell you that. The city wall of my territory is SS5 level. At present, in the case of a 6th level territory, it can withstand all attacks below the 8th level. Even if it is the 8th level, it is impossible to break through without bombarding the same area more than 100 times. Sha Yu stopped talking for a moment. SSS level. Or the city wall, this core defense building. What this means, she couldn't be clearer. For a group with strong air combat capabilities. Describe it in 2 words, CCFC. That is invincible. Sha Yu looked at Qin Feng at this time. Her eyes were watery. Some thoughts could not help but emerge in her heart. It seems that being a princess is not bad. However, soon, her cheeks flushed, and she couldn't help but spit in her heart. Bah, Sha Yu, how can you give in so easily? However, how can I calm down so easily when my heart is in turmoil? However, this can't be blamed on Sha Yu. Admiring the strong is a biological instinct. Originally, Sha Yu thought that she had developed well and had competitive ability. But now, she found that her pride and strength were not worth mentioning. In addition, her relationship with Qin Feng was intimate. Naturally, some messy thoughts came into being. However, she didn't know at this moment. In Qin Feng's territory, there are not only the Eternal Wall, but also 10 SSS level buildings. Every miracle building is SSS level. Passages on both sides. On the right side, Lord Black Wolf is in charge of the attack. He is a werewolf, and he has developed well. He has nearly 200 soldiers under his command. Among them, there are more than 100 wolf cavalry, which is a top elite army. In addition, among the remaining 100 soldiers, there are 70 to 80 werewolf hunters, which are also elite soldiers. Their characteristics are extremely sharp and agile, and they are good at mountain terrain. The remaining soldiers are their trump cards. Moonlit Werewolf. This is a unique army of the werewolf tribe. Werewolves belong to the large branch of the orc tribe. Its development path and ordinary soldiers are all from the orc branch. In fact, the so-called 10,000 tribes are actually the various small tribes included. In fact, based on the development route. In fact, the number of each tribe is far less than that. For example, fire crows, ice birds, and golden-winged rocks belong to the large bird tribe. Shadow leopards, blood-eyed lions, and blood pythons belong to the Warcraft tribe. Behemoths, werewolves, snakemen, etc. belong to the orc tribe. According to their respective tribes, their development paths are relatively similar. But similarity does not mean exactly the same. Take orcs as an example. Different orc lords all have special arms belonging to their own tribes. For example, the behemoth tribe. Only they can recruit special behemoths such as silver and gold. Ordinary orc lords, even if the barracks are upgraded to level 10, can only recruit violent behemoths. Similarly, the lords of behemoth can only recruit regular werewolf arms such as wolf cavalry in the barracks. Moonlight Werewolf. It is a special arm of the werewolf tribe. Its rank is king level, and its combat power doubles under the moonlight, and it can even fight against epic level arms. And at this moment, Black Wolf and his tribe are flying forward rapidly. Soon, they were getting closer and closer to Qin Feng's territory. As they got closer, when they saw the towering city wall, they were inevitably stunned and panicked, just like Li Yu at the beginning. Fortunately, the fighting spirit of the orcs was relatively not very low. In addition, there were not too many defenders on the top of the city, so there was no decline in morale. Taking a deep breath, Black Wolf gave the order to attack at this time. However, as a group of soldiers rushed forward, on the city wall, on the arrow towers that came with them, the soldiers who were temporarily transferred to Eternal Archers instantly launched an attack. Endless rain of arrows. Swish. The dense rain of arrows fell all over the sky. The power of each arrow was terrifying and amazing. Most of the wolf cavalry and other soldiers who charged forward were killed in just one round of volleys. The only ones left were all seriously injured. Even the moonlight werewolf could not withstand such an attack. This scene made Black Wolf completely dumbfounded. In the distance, Qin Feng grinned and said, "It seems that you can't attack the right channel." Kalia's face suddenly became ugly. He didn't expect this result. After all, Black Wolf was a lord who could be ranked in the forefront in his alliance. His territory was also upgraded to level 6 before the battle. According to his idea, he could pose a threat to Qin Feng, or even directly break through his territory. But the result? It turned out that he was defeated directly after one round of attack. Taking a deep breath, Kalia said coldly, "This can only prove that you are not too stupid, and there is still some combat power left in the territory. But the attack on the left side is not enough to rely on shooters alone." Qin Feng smiled and said lightly, "In fact, my advice to you is, don't count on it. Just charge head on." Kalia didn't reply, but looked at the left passage. There, he sent out the snake people. The snake people have a human-like upper body and a snake-like tail in the lower body. This race, it is indeed not afraid of the shooter profession. Because their movement trajectory is relatively strange. And the scales all over the body also have a strong resistance to arrows. At the same time, the most important thing is, this Mamba Lord is the recognized second combat power in his alliance. Not only are his soldiers elite, but he also has more than 5,000 king soldiers, the purple-striped Python War King. At the same time, he also has a legendary hero unit under his command. Moreover, that legendary hero unit is a type with extremely strong defense. Under its cover, it is completely possible to approach the city wall. He seems to be quite confident. Sha Yu whispered at the side. Qin Feng heard this and smiled faintly. "Just watch and you will know." Everyone's eyes turned to the left channel again. Because the overall movement speed of the snake people is not as fast as that of the werewolves. At this moment, this group of snake people just approached Qin Feng's territory. A group of snakemen, twisting their bodies, they soon came to a few hundred meters away from the city wall. One of the snakemen had a solemn look in his vertical pupils. At this time, he looked at his side. Beside him, he saw a snakeman with a rather burly figure. His body was much taller than that of ordinary snakemen. The tail alone was more than 10 meters long, and his sturdy body was covered with scales. "Depend on you." The snakeman lord, Mamba, with a black snake tail spoke at this time. The burly snakeman nodded slightly after hearing this. The next moment, his body suddenly grew bigger again at this moment. Beast transformation. In a low voice, this burly snakeman suddenly completed the transformation in a short time. It directly turned into a giant python with a full 100 meters and rock-like scales all over its body. Legendary snakeman hero. Giant rock dragon pattern python. It can transform into a python and possesses superb defense. After it transforms into its original form. At this time, a group of snakemen came to its back. "Charge!" Mamba spoke at this time. The next moment, the giant python suddenly raised its head, and then swung its body, heading directly towards the city wall. It has to be said. Legendary hero unit, still a type that focuses on defense. It really withstood the attack of the eternal shooter. Even though there is indeed a one-level gap between the two sides. But the hero's bonus itself is not small. However, this still shocked Mamba. Because he clearly saw that the hero under his command had his defense broken in the repeated attacks. He was covered with injuries. Fortunately, this distance was not too far. After all, it hit the bottom of the city wall. Far away. Kalia grinned. "Qin Feng, do you feel the fear? The shooter under your command did not stop Mamba." Qin Feng curled his lips. "So what? Let's talk about breaking the city first." Kalia sneered. "Once you get close to the city wall, do you think you can't break the city? I only need to count 5 numbers, and you will see the scene of the city wall breaking." It is extremely confident. Giant rock dragon pattern python. This snake hero, when transformed into its original form, not only has superior defense. At the same time, it is also a siege weapon. Its huge body is destined to carry huge power every time it attacks. The eyes are shining. Kalia slowly said, 5. He looked at Qin Feng, hoping to see panic in his eyes. 4. Count down again. But at this time, he found that Qin Feng yawned. 3. Kalia raised his voice a little, and at the same time couldn't help looking at the left channel. But the expected situation did not occur. He saw that the giant python had indeed swung its tail onto the city wall. However, the city wall did not break as he had imagined. 2. Kalia's eyes widened. He could not count the last number. In fact, the situation was even worse than he saw. Outside the city wall at this moment, under the continuous blows of the giant python, many scales fell off, but the city wall was not broken, not even a trace was left. And, more importantly, in the bunker under the city wall, one by one, the warriors who were temporarily transferred to the Eternal Gunners also launched attacks through the holes. This made it impossible for the snake people to get close to the city wall. Qin Feng spoke at this time. How about I count to 3? Your group of snakemen will be wiped out immediately. Do you believe it? Kalia looked at Qin Feng coldly after hearing this. You can't do it. You don't have to provoke me. The more you do this, the more it means that your defense line is in jeopardy, and you want to lure me to attack actively. Quote. Qin Feng laughed when he heard this. But he didn't say anything more. He just counted lightly. 1. As the words fell. At this time, in the direction of the territory, strands of starlight began to gather from the star tower in the territory. Qin Feng on the battlefield counted the second number. At this time, on the star tower, the stars flickered, and the condensed energy had reached an incredible level. This is not surprising. After all, when the territory is upgraded, the star tower will also be upgraded. When the star tower was first built, the territory was only level 4. But when the star tower is full of energy, it can already cause an attack equivalent to level 70. And now, it can directly cause an attack equivalent to level 90, that is, a peak 9th order powerhouse. Such energy is naturally amazing. Finally, when the energy is gathered, Qin Feng also counted out the third number at this time. The next moment, countless starlight suddenly shot out. Through the shield covering the territory, it was refracted several times. Then, the sky was full of starlight, bright and shining. But this kind of shining brought a devastating blow. Strands of light beams accurately hit the snakemen one by one. Among them, the thickest beam of light fell directly and suddenly, aiming directly at the giant rock dragon-patterned python that was already scarred. As expected, its body was instantly pierced by the beam. Similarly, the rest of the snakemen could not withstand such an attack and all died. It was just a moment. Outside the city wall, there was no sign of life. Kalia's eyes widened at this moment, with a look of astonishment and disbelief on his face. At this time, Qin Feng's voice sounded again. Look, I said 3 seconds, it's 3 seconds. I am the most honest person. Quote. Kalia's chest was heaving, and it was obvious that his breathing was not stable. After several seconds, he finally accepted this reality, exhaled a few times, and whispered, I admit that I underestimated you. Next, I will attack with all my strength. During the words, a roar resounded. It was Kalia who jumped up directly, jumped 100 meters from a relatively backward position, and came to the front of the coalition. Then, the ground of the entire passage was shaking. Then, more than 10 creatures with brown hair and a fierce aura also strode from the back. It was the behemoth. Then, the Minotaur warrior, the Minotaur chieftain, and the Komodo beast were on both sides. At the same time, one hero unit after another also came to the front. Obviously, this move, the other party is going to take it seriously. Seeing this, Qin Feng's expression finally became a little more serious. Strategically, you can despise the enemy. Tactically, you have to pay attention to the enemy. The opponent's lineup is also enough for Qin Feng to pay attention to. After all, next you have to face the attack lineup composed of behemoths as the vanguard, which must not be taken lightly. You should know that the behemoth is known as the king of land warfare. This creature, although it does not know magic, its hard fur is highly resistant to magic elements, and can even be immune to damage from low-level magic. At the same time, it is precisely because it is only good at land warfare that its talent in land warfare is maxed out. Super strong defense, attack and endurance are their synonyms. And the behemoth is also a rare combat unit with 100 as an army. You should know that a legion, normally speaking, has at least more than 10,000. 100 as an army means that more than 100 behemoths can be compared with a legion of 10,000 people. Among the myriad races, the only ones that can compare with you are the Titans, and mountain giants, and other minority groups. For the rest, even the dragons cannot compete with them. In terms of close combat capabilities, it cannot be said that there are none that can surpass this group. But almost all of them are among the super races. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.